need to start as fast as you possibly can.
For sure.
We saw in the losers bracket, a lot of teams left it to the last 2 games, and it was frantic. It was chaotic. It was fun for us, but it was too late for them. You can't do that.
No, we want to see them put in the. Obviously, all the teams want to get the points as early as possible, but still, in a case of where if you haven't been getting your 5, 6, 7 points per game now, you need to have a big game to start things with. Otherwise, you're going to be struggling to have a chance with win more of those.
And take that risk because worst case scenario, you still have the last chance qualifier. So I want to see some teams go out, put in work, and try to get points early. It's almost time for game 1. The Dusty Dunes on the way after this. Don't go anywhere.
And here we go. We're moving into our last day of the winner's bracket, and it is going to be time for your superstars to step up because we saw some big performances yesterday. If you want to get in the top 8, you got to make something big happen.
Absolutely. The Dest did a great job breaking down a lot of these teams, in particular 17 and Donawa having really, really strong days overall. Even though 17 might have lost that one game to the Sonics, they bounced back right after that, and they went absolutely nuts. It was an absolutely brilliant play from the Sonics that has got them in that top 8 fairly comfortably. They need to just have a pretty decent day, and they should be good to go. A lot of teams are kind of in that position, though. We saw this with 4 a.m. In the losers bracket that, everybody thought they were basically a done deal, but they only put up like 16 points on that second day in 6 games and ended up falling out of it.
It is... we've already seen, I think it was Martin that was talking about it a second ago, the heartbreak of teams that we were expecting to have performances already be at least in the last chance qualifiers. And this has just been a brutal tournament. This has been probably the toughest lobbies we have ever seen. I mean, superstar performances from Tycon. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody kill a 1/6 of the lobby themselves and then clutch up and win the game? That is just insane. That's what we're dealing with right now. So a middling performance isn't even going to get you into the top 8, I don't think.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Some of our best players are having pretty good days, but their teams aren't necessarily having the best days overall. FaZe, like the desk was talking about, Fex has 11 or 12 kills or something, but they're not, really in the mix. Foot as well. The EU teams seem to be struggling. Vard has 11 kills. The rest of the team not really there. So we got to see them pick it up. We got to see that day 2 phase. It is Sunday. Goes without saying. Could be their day. We'll see. But their day 2 in group stage was absolutely bananas. So.
I mean, we are also starting on Miramar, which can be a bit more of a kill burst for your squad, right? Just because of the foot pushing capabilities, whenever we're dealing with the trenches, the way that it all kind of lays out, you have an opportunity to really pick up a lot of kills if you navigate it well. The problem with it is the fact that we've just seen really about 3 or 4 teams navigating these really high kill counts, and it's led to that just cluster of teams like the desk was talking about. One good game can get you into the top 8, but the problem with it is everybody can have that good game in this lobby.
No, exactly. Everybody's capable of it. And I mean, Tycon, all of his kills came in that one game. So other than that, he was very quiet, but he had such a good performance there on that one game that it more than made up for the rest of the day being a little bit lackluster for his team. Osla Pentagram, it started out looking like they might have another kind of run at things where they might be pretty strong, but since then it has been a little bit difficult for them. They're not that as good as some of these other teams that fighting out in the open is what I'll say.
Yeah, this though is the aggressor, I would say. Not afraid to tackle anybody around them. We saw on social media they even put up hey, if you mess with our Red Bulls in the fridge, we're just going to land on your landmark off of the drop. That's kind of the nature of the beast of what we looked Donna was doing today.
No, Donawa is a force to be reckoned with right now, and it's, again, Soul on top with the frags, Loki right behind him, as was the case in PWS Phase 2. They were neck and neck with each other in terms of that kills and damage. Sonics as well, having a really, really good one. Kickstart, Tiggleton, Shrimsy, all up there in their kill counts, 8, 7, and 7 apiece. H1 not too far behind either, so it wasn't the most explosive day for the Sonics, but again, right now, the Sonics are in a let's play for the maximum points possible. They made a brilliant move in game number 2, a really, really smart way that they set that up. Going back and watching it, some things that we missed in there with some of the way they set up their smokes and stuff to try to fake a push towards the hillside. Really, really smart.
We often talk about points per game, right? Make sure you maintain your points per game. Aim for about a 5 to a 6 in a bad world. you want to try to aim for way more than that if you want to make sure that you're just secure in positioning. Sonics is one of the few teams that's really leaning into that. Well, I mean, really anybody that's in our top 4 right now, I could say would fall into that category. But in a lobby of this caliber and in this strength, those 4 squads are really the only ones that are kind of finding that pathing to maintain the points per game, whereas you were talking about with Tycon, 1 game. I mean, sure, I believe it was the Tego game. He also managed to survive for quite a while, get some damage, get a kill here or there. But big difference between what happened in the game of Fallen.
Yeah. I mean, the games like that, like, more than make up for the rest of a slightly lackluster day for Tycon before that. So, you know, Legacy struggled a little bit. Hide your strats. You know, actually, I think it's just the current drops teams where they're dropping
can't have
on
paper.
those maps.
No paper allowed for you.
Can't have those. Yep.
No strategy.
You can look at them, but once the game starts, then you got to do some other stuff. So give us a little love there as well. But yeah, Legacy needs to.
Так, ну что, добрый день всем, народ. Всем здравствуйте. Надо себя красивого перенести, да? Не помню там как. Лучше.
The problem is sometimes that squad can also destroy themselves in that strategy, and that's kind of been their own independent issue, as we do have ourselves prepped and ready, moving into our Miramar game, first game of the day, kicking it off on one of my favorite maps. I can't say my favorite map anymore. I don't know. I really enjoyed Bikindi yesterday.
Так, добрый день, народ. Ну что, у нас сегодня заключительный, финальный день в сетке винеров. Первая игра Мирамар. Соответственно, дальше у нас будет второй Мирамар, потом Таэга, Викенди и 2 Эрангеля. Здравствуй, просто Лекс. Зохан с каким-то Димкой здоровается, привет. Миленик, здравствуй. Здравствуй, Андрей. Как самочувствие после вчерашнего? Портс, нормально, бодрячком. Бодрячком, пацанчики, бодрячком. Так, должен подойти скуп, я так полагаю, поэтому... Надо ему отписать, что я его жду. Так, ну что, первый Мирамар. У нас с вами Твайсы чувствуют себя плюс-минус нормально. Коэмы очень плохо в этом лобби. Сегодня у нас уже есть явные лидеры в этом лобби. Это Донава, это 17-е. Там где-то Тианба еще рядышком. То есть плюс-минус картина начинает вырисовываться. Видно, как команды себя чувствуют, как у них складываются игры. По крайней мере, по первому дню такое плюс-минус впечатление сложилось, какие команды действительно готовы к этому лобби, которые чувствуют себя хорошо. Вот вчера играли Дэи максимально стабильно, да, всегда плюс-минус где-то в топе, но чего-то немножечко им не хватало каждый раз. Донава и 17-е прям, ну, на... Как будто бы видно, что вчера они были на голову выше других команд по игре. Очень уверенно, очень агрессивно. Привет, Руслан, Киров тут. Здравствуй, пятка. Так, а вы там на ютубчике не забывайте прожимать лайки. Скуп написал, сейчас докушает и придет. Скорее всего, шансы на то, что question-марки пройдут, очень малы. Я думаю, что 5% я мог бы поставить на то, что они смогут оказаться в 8-ке, и 95% на то, что они уйдут в Last Chance. Но в Last Chance, наверное, себя могут проявить без каких-либо проблем. Конечно, хотелось бы, чтобы сегодня все наши команды прошли, чтобы я не смотрел Last Chance, и хотя бы у меня было там несколько дней без ежедневного комментирования турнира, потому что хочется меньше времени уделять ПАБГу. Скуби скучный комментатор, ну... Зато у Скуба хорошее понимание игры. Ну, комментатор из него, конечно, не важный, я согласен. Да и я, собственно, тоже, знаете, я сейчас больше не как комментатор выступаю, а тоже как зритель, просто мы с вами вместе смотрим. Я не особо что-то комментирую, так скажем, происходящее, я слежу за тем, что мне интересно, и свои эмоции и свое видение игры вам передаю, не более того. Как комментатор я тоже, собственно, уже никакой. Если раньше, возможно, я занимался именно тем, что я комментировал, то сейчас я больше переживаю просто игры вместе с вами. Надо зарядку для телефона. Так, у меня сырочек. У нас коемы полетели. Вроде не на хороших таймингах летят. И есть места, куда они железобетонно могут сейвово прыгнуть в зоне. Например, там гора над импалой. Да? Сейчас я открою карту. Ну, чтобы было понимание. А, прошу прощения, коемы что, спрыгнули на тачку? А, они, наверное, забаганные на карте. Почему-то вот эти парашютирования, оно забаганное на... Как на стриме карты именно. Церберусы вчера подтянулись, да, одну игру хорошую сыграли. Но при этом в целом мне вообще не нравится, как Церберусы выглядят на этом турнире. Ой, коемы очень далеко куда-то улетели. Ой-ой-ой. Коемы разлетелись, что-то в разные стороны. Ой. Ой. Пахнет фейлом. Если честно, мужики. Как будто фейзы пошли. Как будто фейзы хотят их. Вот, твайсы прилетели туда, куда я думал прилетят коемы. В итоге твайсы сюда прилетели. При этом коемы летели раньше, и коемы могли забирать эту гору. Гора очень хорошая. Да, ты потом с этой горы маловероятно, что уйдешь, допустим, если вверх будет прок-зоны. Но очень часто проги бывают под этой горой, чуть выше этой горы, чуть ниже этой горы. В общем, эта гора очень хорошая в этой зоне. We saw Foot get the high ground just to the east of Impala. Impala's already been surrendered to NH. Twisted Minds in their compound. This is, to give that up, to move to the low ground near the coast is a very peculiar call at this stage.
Yeah, I'm very curious what their circle math tells them about this particular setup, because there could be something... Думаю, твисты сегодня хорошо будут играть. Есть такое предчувствие у меня. А question марки, наоборот, будут плохо играть. Вот есть такое предчувствие. Да и сейчас могут наехать на футболистов очень... Или они знают друг про друга. Да, как будто бы знают. Флэш плохо сыграл. Здравствуй, Юлек. И тут же Тианба сперли его.
Алло.
Салам алейкум.
Здорово.
Как сам?
Меня переманивает другая студия.
Переманивает другая студия? Кто?
Да, там
Студия без стрима или со стримом?
студия без стрима. Где можно говорить как есть.
Yeah, I mean, he is the southernmost player we can potentially have at the time. Looking out, nothing else really dust up
Ой.
situation.
Чё, какие у тебя предикты на сегодняшний день? По твоим внутренним ощущениям. По нашим командам давай. Да.
По нашим? Ну, я думаю, что твисты поднаберут, КМы поднаберут, но типа в шестерку никто не залетит из наших, я думаю.
А мне кажется, что твайсы сегодня будут играть намного лучше, чем все предыдущие дни. Это есть такое вот у меня ощущение, как будто... А КМы будут играть очень плохо сегодня. И прям вообще плохо, как будто бы.
Ну, Адолс уже отговорку на предыдущий день себе сделал.
Чё это?
На него стоит, дует кондиционер, и ему очень холодно. И ему не разрешают его убавить или выключить.
Ну, в целом это неприятно, на самом деле.
Это неприятно, но это не такая причина, которая все руинит.
Ну, это такой раздражающий момент. Вот я не понял, я не знаю, сначала ты смотришь или нет, но почему КМы не выпрыгнули на ту гору, куда улетели твайсы, я не понял.
Не, только включу.
Понял. То есть у нас КМы летели на парашюте примерно на 30 секунд раньше, чем твайсы, но КМы взяли, скипнули эту гору и полетели куда-то вверх, а твайсы взяли гору. Причем, на мой взгляд, в этой зоне это идеальная позиционка. Да, у тебя нет машин, но очень часто проки рядом с этой горой.
Я не вижу просто, где сейчас твайс.
Над Импалой гора, которая. Ну, не до... ну, короче, у Импалы, над Импалой есть кемп вот этот вот ангарами, и над ним гора вот эта.
Ну, возможно, потому что Адолс здесь лутаются и все время отсюда играют. И им комфортнее, типа, отсюда играть. Плюс много шифтов сюда. Гораздо больше, чем зоны вокруг этой горы. Ты с горы, типа, без машины никуда не деваешься.
Ну, это понятно, это да.
Не знаю.
Ё-моё, фейзы душат Донаву. -2 у Донавы, -3 у Донавы. Фейзы что, сегодня на уверенности начинают этот день? А, Лу в ноке. Как? Он спрыгивал его парашюта на парашюте? Ну, это минус Лу. Еще и нокнули его LG. Ну, это было странно. Видимо, они хотели с Плитом с Батулиным сесть. Но там не вышло. Ну, КМы пока, грубо говоря, там в гордом одиночестве сверху карты. Вообще, видимости там никого даже близко нет.
Going back to Donovan and Legacy, I think Legacy made a bit of a mistake. In a way, I think they could have stopped up where Guizera is right now and been safe for a while, then moved up to the his current circle instead.
Вард сейчас наступит. А, Джимс уезжает. Густав смотрит в другую сторону. Заспотал, по-моему, Вартова, нет? Нет, не заспотал. А Густав тоже? Ой. Сейчас Густав может нокнуться из-за этого. Хорошо пострелял Эдди, но не хватило одного попадания.
Мы под шумовку фейзов кемп забрали.
So need to be careful. QM is also going to move in. That position I was talking about, the compounds with FaZe and Foot now fighting. That means that QM did manage to steal that one away. Beanie seeing if maybe he can get Beam in a shot and does manage to get the knock on effects. Spins back around. Corexy managed to get the knock on a one. Beam is going to go ahead and get the knock on a Corexy. And it is just trade upon trade.
Yeah, a great flank out here from James and Gustav gave Beanie a really difficult situation to deal with.
Так, у футболистов только Тибон остался, и Тибон текает, я так понимаю. Фейзы разрезаются? Отлично.
Over by the tree, I believe, and T-Bone can't quite find the angle. He's still got to worry about a couple players behind him as well. Still, Onyx hunting Guizera.
Опа. Сюда плюс-поинт. Почему LGC-шка один остался? Ля, он радостный, конечно. Лил Гост нокает Викида. Не доест, хае плохая.
Не, ну Легаси видно прям, что оно типа не их уровень.
Ну да. Так, сейчас ключ будет там, напоминают. Ждем, чат. New Happy чё, решили снова разваливаться? Как же... А, был уже. Все понятно. Ключ был после первого фрага же, наверное, Лекс. Нет, что-то...
Просто по всей карте шпиняют.
New Happy что-то вообще, да. Что-то как-то вот...
That third party, like they pull up short, and that gives 17 the opportunity to recognize it and respond. And 17 is so good with grenades, they just do not miss. And it's actually T5 who's going for these mortars onto NH. And
капец там душнило с минометом, блин. У Адера вон миномет тоже. Воу-воу-воу-воу-воу.
That's back in his old position. Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole reason why he was like, no, I'm not even gonna med. I'm just gonna move. Keep in mind, T5 does have truck stock under control, so they can kind of harass this for a while. If they go and find a couple more mortars, they can kind of do whatever they want over here, but it is going to be getting a bit closer.
Неплохая попыточка. Чуть-чуть не хватило.
Grouping's going to be the death of us, so we got to make sure that we keep this a bit more under control. They are center of the circle, so a lot of that mortar, a lot of these throwables are going to be going their direction now.
Мне кажется, он рановато херачит. Как будто бы незачем пока это делать. Так, 0 попаданий от Адоза. Адоз, кстати, вчера не сделал ни одного фрага. На кого ставишь?
Если Дэй не помешают, зачем Адолс выползает на инфу? Там футы еще бежит.
Еще и спер. Какой же ты Тибон, конечно. Наказан, получается. Ну, походу, дейтрейды Коэмов сейчас уничтожат, не? Хотя их двое вышло, и они не особо так агрессивно действуют. Но как будто Коэмом сейчас в любом случае к ним.
Соники приехали.
Вижу. Там твистендбайнцы спрыгивают с горы. Твисты у нас только 1 поинт имеют. Дальше им тоже будет как будто бы не очень просто. Ля, Химос вчера так, по-моему, Пейджа потушил. Просто жесть. На викенде. Это было вообще мощно.
pressure right away from 17 and have to prone down.
This is a very scary place to have as many mortars firing off as we do see. It's
GNG в сетке лузеров играют. Играли. Блин, радостно видеть минометы, но раннее использование минометов, оно как бы никаких результатов не приносит. Слушай, ну 17-е продолжают просто уничтожать.
I mean, everybody else is just dropping like flies, and Onyx in the meantime did find a kill on the backside. I'm very keen to keep track of that. I mean, every kill Dono again.
Есть ног по 17-м.
17, I love how proactive they are. They spread out. They're so good at controlling their own space, and they're so good at taking advantage.
Минус Фил Фёрст. У Коэмов уже один человек на ногах.
У Коэма там не всплывает никак.
Я даже не вижу, где там Коэмы, да, минус Бестолочь. Ну, 3 поинта за эту игру у Question Mark. Очень плохо. Но твисты тоже сейчас закончатся. Тут твистов особо нету вариантов. А куда Соники делись? У меня вопрос.
Там же, где Коэмы сдохли.
А где сдохли Коэмы?
Около кемпа на выходе из него.
Где сейчас Ноникс?
Да.
Понял. 17-е продолжают уничтожать Азлу. Он типа собрал инфу, сейчас Адер будет поливать.
They're at a gatekeeping position where they can hold out as a day trade, maybe even twisted minds. Anonix is still going to need to make his way.
Там твисты. А им достался хоть... ну 2 поинта им досталось. У них есть машина теперь. Но в любом случае, дальше они как будто бы не всплывают тоже. Сейчас с двух сторон, снизу Тайлу, сверху дейтрейды 17-е. 17-е, правда, заняты Азлой, но все равно. Минус Нью Хэппи. Нью Хэппи максимально отвратительно играют. Прям вообще ужасно. У Нью Хэппи всегда были проблемы с ротациями. Но раньше они дрались просто как тигры. А сейчас они дохнут как мухи. Проблемы всегда были с позиционкой у них. Спайра нок. Билмод сдох. Минус дейтрейды. И Ноникс
бегает,
да.
собирает.
И Ноникс тупо собирает всю медицину с типов. Выживает как может. Молодец, блин. Минус перфект. Минус перфект. Минус Батулин. Минус Твайсы. 3 поинта за игру. Стоп. 4 поинта, да? Плюс еще за плейсмент дали. Ну вот и Ноникс уже как минимум плюс поинт для своей команды вынес. И еще и 7 фрагов у Динавы. Ну, наверное, сейчас схлопнется зона и схлопнется и Ноникс. Хотя его не ждут, конечно.
Ну, смотря сколько он там аптек насобирал.
Да, вот нам не показывают, сколько медицины у него. Ну, покажите! Ну, вы нам показываете и Ноникса. 6. Ну, мало. Не дойдет никак.
Не, дойти не дойдет, но поживет еще сколько-то.
Ну, никого не
Некому
переживет.
умирать.
Да.
He can't make it. It's not possible.
Probably about 300 meters.
Yeah, it's actually just not possible. He just doesn't have enough first aids. It's fun to watch him try, and a well-deserved round of applause. He did a great job in this game. 4 kills, got placement points.
This is actually its own mechanical skills, making sure you're timing this all out right. We often see people screw this up, and he's managing to survive, but it's just going to be a matter of time.
ГГ.
По 17-му он постреляет.
tried. And I'm sure he would like to do some damage to the 17 if possible. But a really solid game. But I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Непонятно, что делал Т5 в соло.
From 17 though, very needed that LG gets any kills they can get. They've already got 3, but they really want to shoot up that leaderboard. I mean, one good game and you're talking about being up in 5th, 4th place.
Мне кажется, единственное, что могут сделать Т5, это встать просто на дороге, как зона закроется. Ну хотя тут, ладно, LG все видит.
It's going to be 17 gaming and LG, but now the harassment's going to be coming up from back behind him. Cerberus, who's been having to hold out this position for so long, now starting to find some capabilities to harass back. Snakers wants a piece of this as well, but it's all coming up for Cerberus. Finally, 17 gaming is going to be able to take down Tongmu, as let's not forget, Tyloo also needs to position into this, and that's going to be T5.
Т5 даже не попытались подраться, как будто бы если бы они въехали в 17-х, было бы эффективнее. Ну или в тех же LG, я не знаю. Блин, думал, матчи на 14:00, они уже заканчиваются. В смысле, это первый матч. Они не заканчиваются, ты чё? Это первая игра на сегодня.
You know, have a replication of what happened yesterday with Tycon again, where he kind of ruins their chances of potentially winning a chicken dinner. Snakers still watching Cerberus keeping track of their movements, but Cerberus' Himas very good with that SLR, puts him right back to the other side of the hill.
Мне кажется, зря 17-е в центр зоны приехали так рано. Так, чатик, нас с вами больше 200 на трансляции, а лайков нету. Ну не жадничайте, блин, лайк поставьте. Вот это хорошая хае сейчас будет. Надо еще. Левей. Я не знаю, как. LG тут тоже умирать должны. Вообще никаким. Как будто бы они зря вверх поднялись. Им надо было играть вправо-вниз.
В смысле, им есть куда еще скатиться?
У
них нормальная игра дальше. Вот под Хайсаки скатываешься вниз. Ну, вот куда едет Сникерс, да. Прям тут встаешь, главное Хайсаки убить и все. И они сейф.
Ну, такое, как будто бы.
Да не, нормально. Только они про Хайсаки не знают, он их в ухо убьет сейчас.
Бум.
The car explosion is going to do the job on the Snakers, and Cerberus really starting to hammer down on LG.
The only benefit to this is roughly Tyloo's trying to move into 17 at the same time, but Cerberus has just got the angles into every bit.
Все позиции дырявые. Если бы сразу Церберусов вниз сыграли, так было бы лучше. Бум. Минус 2. А, это была не граната, что ли?
Points away from Cerberus. Tongmu, here goes that strike from Tyloo, but immediately they're just shutting him down. Lil goes and Xiaobei.
Тайлу просто от одного... А, нет, от двоих. На 17-е просто же жестко лупят.
What is 17 Gaming going to do? Looks like they're going to try to stop for a second, get the res onto Xiaowu. Suju's going to be a bit harder to try to get the res onto, but LG now using that reprieve. They do have Mime down. It's going to be Cerberus. Hamas very close to see if maybe he can close this one out against LG.
Super wise here by Cerberus. Eliminate the biggest threat in this lobby. Just leave Hamas on his own with this P90 to just kind of keep LG from getting the res onto Mime, making sure Rello...
Так, Lil Ghost уже услышал Церберусов.
A lot of focus from Cerberus leaning into LG, and now 17 is trying to exploit it. LG goes down. That means the fact that is going to stall out what 17 was trying to do. It looks like it was going to be a concentrated push onto Tycon's position, and we have seen Tycon take a game, take control. This is going to be a very dangerous push coming from 17.
Надо Тайкона убить.
Lil Ghost leading the way.
Yeah, Tycon is not aware.
Боже. Вот он сидел. Куда его там? Оса в жопу ужалила, что ли?
See Cerberus collapse and play it a little bit slower here, but 17 caught them flat-footed.
Just good read on the circle, realizing how separated out Cerberus had to be maintaining that fight with LG. Now then, looks like 17 is going to wolf pack it down to the south. We do have 2 members for Cerberus that are leaning over. Xiaowu is going to be trying to open up the path. Looks up into Cerberus, going for the blind.
17 это еще забирают! Вау!
But keep in mind, Hamas is closing down a lot of any of this movement that 17 is trying to make.
Yeah, you just cannot give 17 these 1v1s like this. They're going to punish you every time. Finally, Lil Ghost overextends and he pays the price.
Ой, размен 2 в 2.
Both teams feeling a little bit overconfident at times, but there should be a flush coming through. Lil Ghost, though, I don't know if he's...
О, вот это не читают они. Вот это нормально делает Потс.
It could also kind of creep over here. This is around where LG was down and might be able to kind of loot up a bit more for this late stage.
Они же вообще это не читают.
And yeah, now just a directed back flank. I don't know if Hamas is going to be realizing this, and it's just going to catch him.
Lol.
Down. Xiaowu, beautiful flank. Now Solzy, where are you going to go? Complete control over the center of the circle. 17 gaming duo lined up and
Это было очень хорошо сыграно.
Solzy, lot of work to do yet in this one, but they're going to see him prone down there in that smoke. He's trying to get around the edge of that rock to hide himself a little bit more, but those smokes are starting to run out on top of that hill pretty quick. So Lalzi trying to find an opportunity to
На каких уверенных щах 17-е переигрывают всех ребят?
Сейчас Солози затащит.
Смотри, еще и 17-е не делятся, на размен играют. Молодцы.
They've now doubled up. They know exactly where that last member for Cerberus is going to be holding down at. It's just a matter of who gets the peak first, who spots out whom.
Все прекрасно понимают. Не рискует.
Kind of buy Solzy the opportunity to repeat. Solzy just has to be really careful with his sound cues, but he spotted out in the open. He actually wins that.
Holds it down. Can we get another clutch from Cerberus? No, it is going to turn up.
Отлично, 17-е. Это было жестко.
Ну, что-то очень легко выглядело для них.
Да.
На самом деле странно, как они не проебали никого, пока стояли там.
Да, да, я тоже не понимаю. Там постоянно такая бутербродная. Там спокойно их закидывают. Я не, просто... Очень хорошо, молодцы. Так, чат, у нас между первой и второй перерывчик маленький, поэтому далеко не отходите. Чай, кофе, кока-колу. И буквально через 3 минутки будет следующая игра. Я пойду отойду. У меня там мелкий пришел с прогулки. Пойду посмотрю.
Game 1 is done and 17 shows up Cerberus, but they shall would as they come out with a chicken dinner and get themselves a phenomenal win. And as I think Paper put it best, show that they're one of the best open field teams in the world.
They are, yeah. Once they, if you give them a little bit of space, if you give them a finger, they're gonna grab your whole arm.
Yes.
And that is crazy, honestly, the way they executed. There's also some minor blunders from the other teams.
Oh, what were the blunders, I wonder?
The blunders were, you wonder, so in general here, I wanted to see LG grab the space from Cerberus. They gave them space, Cerberus took it away from them. They could have potentially hurted Cerberus around that southern side rather than kind of take it. I understand what they did. I understand they wanted to take the high ground to wait for the next circle to pop to see where it go. But no matter what, I feel like to take the space away from Hisagi and potentially kind of chessboard hurt them a little bit away from, like, kind of pawn them away from that western side to get them out, so they would sweep south on the east side rather, right?
And sort of flood them.
I feel like that would have been a better play. It would have forced the three-way fight between Tyloo, 17 Gaming, and Cerberus, and LG could have taken the western side. But yeah, they gave up a little bit too much space. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, in the moment, you want to see what the next circle is. So I respect it, but they gave up too much space and kind of gave the way a win. But insane game here for 17 Gaming. Yeah, I think did they finish on 17 kills again? I wish. Maybe it's 16, but 17 wins. So our second time would have been, you know, a special thing.
It was impressive to watch. I don't think they did. I will say this though, Tycon. There were some questions everybody was talking about, and they said, "Man, Tycon had just one amazing day yesterday, but maybe he's not all hyped up." He is. Okay, we saw him come back. We saw them play out of their minds. Cerberus is here, and the three-headed dog is ready to fight. But 17 looks insanely strong. Welcome back to the desk. My name's Toffees. I'm joined by Avenger, and that for me is the story. Cerberus looks good, but 17 is a juggernaut right now.
Yeah, once you have this amount of point here, you're just going to be unstoppable, right? 17, it was 17 kills again.
17.
For the second time in this tournament, they're going to have 17 kills, 17 game. That's why they're called 17.
Got to love that.
You've got to love it. No,
it's
Cerberus, 8 kills. LG, 3 kills only. And again, once we saw that Western shift to the jungle compound, they were like, this is their game to lose, for sure. Let's praise them a little bit more, though. Xiaobei, Lilgo, 6 kills. Xiaobu DD, of course, 4. And 3 guys on almost 700 damage in terms of 2 for Xiao. Missing a little bit, but crazy. I wonder who's got. It's gonna be Lil Ghost.
It's gotta be the poltergeist.
You've got to have him as captain, and I don't.
You can call him anything you want as far as Ghost go, but Lil, he is not. His plays are big time. 6 kills, 700 damage. I personally have him on my team because you got to believe in the 17, and these guys came out to play. They've got their drops, and that's not going to change anytime soon.
It's not like he's the friendly Ghost in any means outside the server. He's super friendly outside the server. He's a machine.
He's like
in the server.
He's a Casper when he's not at his keyboard.
True.
Poltergeist when he's at it. 17 kills. Cerberus gets 8. They're going to put up 14 points. Donowa with 9. LG does manage to get 8 points out of that. That's going to mean a lot to them. Looks like a leaderboard.
We got to say, though, there's 61 points here on Donowa that they're able to get off a squeeze, a salvage game. Ionix in the blue healing. He got 4 kills. He squeezed out so much juice of this blue zone game here. Like, it's just
sometimes you get lemons, you got to make lemonade.
Yeah,
they do that.
Honestly, like, I was just like, how is he continuing to get kills here? And obviously, if you realize, the sooner you realize you're not going to be able to win the game, and you just focus on all the other guys that are trying to get into the circle, you're going to get those 3, 4, 5 kills, and he managed to do so. Super impressive. 17 gaming. Congrats, you're the first team going to grand finals.
Oh, absolutely. No question whatsoever. These guys are doing a really, really, really good job as we look around the map. They get cheers from the crowd. It has been exciting to watch them play, but we saw Twisted Minds above them also just moved into that left side of the leaderboard. Cerberus, one of those teams that, man, Cerberus has been on a climb for years now. Like, this is a team that has done nothing but get better in international play. Yeah, and honestly, no wonder there are so many people that are putting them in favorites, but I want to see them more consistency here. They had 2 really good games, 3 almost really good games. I want to see the consistency in their bad games. I want to see those 3, 4, 5 points. Often it's 1, 2 max. All right, it's time for number 2, our second game in the grassy patches of Erangel. Let's get it underway. This is PGC 2023, the last day of the winner's bracket. At the end of this, we determine which 8 advance and which 8 fight for their life.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to be moving over to Miramar. I'm sorry, Miramar. I said that you might not be my favorite anymore, and then you give me a plane path that's over the Chicken Wing Island down to the south and ends, south of Azahar?
That's a gross plane path. We might actually have a prison island off of this one. We'll see. Those are a little bit more common. Yeah, maybe a Los Leones would be fun, too. I'm always down for a good Los Leones. That is my favorite, I think, city in the whole game for a circle to end in, because there's so many opportunities for interesting and smart plays.
I will never ever forget Los Leones in one of the endings that I saw, where I believe it was the Space Station Gaming boys that managed to Itachi themselves up on top of one of the power poles and were just spraying down to everybody.
It was Roth or
I believe
Keenan or something.
It was a bit ago, so rosters might have swapped up a bit since then.
Так, ну чё, следующая игра вот уже начинается. Чат, у меня к вам вопрос. У меня тут у крестницы день рождения. Что можно девочке на 5 лет подарить? Интересненького. А? Есть рекомендации какие-то у вас?
This is going to be a very awkward early section for them to have to contend with. Now going to have to switch back down.
Куклу? Как будто бы там девочка уже выросла из кукол. Девочки в 5 лет это уже серьезные женщины, если что. Коробка конфет, ну это такое. Деревянные пазлы, 56 и более деталей. Микрофон караоке или набор юного художника. Блин, там родители у девочки, наверное, покупали уже все, что захотела она. Ё-моё. Из кукол нельзя вырасти, не придумывай. Детскую кухню. Вау! Панзерфауст. iPhone 15 Pro Max, понял. Дети любят химичить, подарите набор химика. Детям дарят одежду, но это очень дорого. Да кто ж дарит одежду-то? Что за праздник-то у ребенка, когда ему одежду дарят? Мне дарили швейную машинку на 5 лет. Игрушечную? Телефон детям сейчас нравится только это. Да какой телефон в 5 лет? Надо ограничивать ребенка от этих телефонов, чтобы ребенок нормально развивался, а не залипал в телефонах. Я видел историю, когда ребенку чайник родители подарили. Охеренный подарок. Алису ей папа подарил уже. У них уже есть колонка одна, большая Алиса. Они ей маленькую вот подарили. Ну, подарят, я знаю просто. Надеюсь, она не смотрит. 17-й руинят Соником? Ну... Шлемы виртуальной реальности недорогие на маркетах? Шлем виртуальной реальности, кстати, прикольно. О, Алоха тоже прикольный подарочек скинул. Сейчас Маше покажу. Especially now with 17 sponging up so many points in that first one. Cerberus on down is very tricky. You're only, what, 16 points ahead of 9th? That's it. It is very tight. Basically from 2nd all the way down to 12th. Just get the kills that 17 got in the last game and suddenly you're fine, right? Easy. Just 17 kills. It'll be okay. No worries. Twisted Minds is like, oh, you guys left Picado open, huh? All right, well, we'll swarm through there, take some loot, and then move on. But wait, did Daytrade just emergency pick up to go into Impala? I don't think that you're gonna find friends that you want to hang out with over there, as Sonics in this Impala situation have just not been too happy. Yeah, so Daytrade I think is going for the Impala Mountain to the top. Yep, looks like they are going to be landing. No problem. Well, I know that there's a lot of questions going through the mind of what is 17 Gaming going to be doing to everybody else? So let's just go ahead and get a little bit of insight from the interview with them. 我觉得我们跟他没有什么竞争嘛，我们打好我们自己的就行了，没有其他的想法，没有任何的期待，最好是正常发挥吧。我们因为第一что-то Маша не оценила графический планшет. Светильник в виде космонавта. У нас, кстати, дома лежит такой светильник в виде космонавта. Сирена мелкий орет, короче. Маша открывает посудомойку, туда укладывает посуду, а мелкий просто, не знаю, помешанный на посудомойке. Он постоянно туда лезет, в эту посудомойку. И как только она ее закрывает, все, это начинается ор, и он не успел.
just kind of got shredded. They kind of got stuck on a low ground position, and once again getting hit in their flanks when they're not quite ready for it. Shen with the AK, not his preferred gun there, but
Детскую рацию.
with those 7.7 guns, Legacy wide wrap behind the rest
Пико
of the day.
4, шлем. Дети 6-12 лет в восторге. Комп к нему не нужен толком, но можно через Steam VR играть. Интересное предложение, блин. Шлем виртуальной реальности. 58 тысяч. 30 косарей на озоне. Блин, братан, я, конечно, не готов на такое. На какой подарок для ребенка в 5 лет?
Check a lot of the road, the easternmost road, to make sure it's clear from up there, so they can call in with relative certainty that it's going to be safe. Now, the only problem is around Puerto Paraiso is where you don't have any information, so that's where they're making their drive. Good news for them is nobody's out there, and Zhao Yang is going to be taken out.
Так, ну давайте по существу игры. Что у нас там? Скуп вообще ни разу рот не открыл, да? Он вообще тут интересно? О, я тут. Делает вид, что его тут нету. Так, ну коэмы сейчас примерно там, где в прошлой были твайсы. Зона, кстати, вполне себе может быть такой же, как в прошлой. Теоретически. Твайсы у нас на Кантере, бывшая Ля Бендита. Велосипед. Велосипед, это надо ходить, выбирать именно с ребенком, и это пусть родители такие подарки дарят. Сборник сказок. Ну, это как-то не выглядит как солидный подарок, не знаю. Мне, кстати, вот лично мне понравился графический планшет. Прикольная тема. Маша что-то не особо оценила. Как будто говорит, как не похоже это на нормальный подарок. Детский полароид.
Ясно, хуйню какую-то подарил опять.
Я ничего еще не подарил. Я только выбираю, вот советуюсь. Nice shooting, just really clean from Bard. This one, I thought Zhao Yang was around the corner, or excuse me, Tungmu was around the corner that last bullet. He did too. You can see it. He like steps away. He's like, oh wait, no, what? And spins back around that last moment. Like, what's going on over there? Что за твайсы? Это твисты, Twisted Minds. Ну так посмотри, как у них сокращение их команды 9-й строчки. Если ты не видишь Нави UK. Ой, зона, ой, зона, ой, зона! О, да. Ну, это, кстати, да. Да. Ну, для коэмов норм. Для всех остальных...
Ну, если они останутся, не
Что? Что? Боже, ну как так? Плойку 5-ю купи. Рано еще девочки плойку 5-ю, тем более у нее есть 4-я плойка, которой она все равно не пользуется. Какой у вас бюджет на подарок? Не резиновый.
Купи квартиру на вырост.
Для таких подарков у меня есть сын. Не, я не верю, что это будут острова. Это слишком ультрарарный проки. Но если это будут острова, это будет вакханалия лютая уже на следующей зоне.
Если это будут острова, прикинь, сколько зафармят на горе дойти. Челодеи.
Челодеи? Ну, Батулин уже приехал. А куда тиммейты... А, сюда же и упали, в импалу?
That means that they're going to have control and sweep potentially in the different areas. Twisted Mind's already very weakened off of this one. Just on the outskirts of it, don't forget the fact that we do have Cerberus still lined up. They're going to be playing to the east of LG's positioning. 17 Gaming still leaning into the fields, keeping an eye on it because it's going to be where Sonics are at. But Sonics now going to have to contend with Donoa as yet again getting crashed in this longhouse. Could be defensible, but Donoa wants it.
Yeah, Donoa didn't have too many other better options.
Вот я, например, своей сестре на 5 лет дарил, мне кажется, как раз-таки набор химиков. Они там, ну, разные там мыло могли делать, там всякую фигню. А, или это были много разных наборов, в том числе и мыло делать. Ну, короче, разные наборы вот такие вот. Я помню. Все от бюджета зависит, но я же говорю, ну пусть это будет 5,000. Максимум. Мишку большого. Да нафиг эти пылесборники нужны. Вообще не понимаю мягких игрушек.
Да, Донат вообще без проблем справилась.
Опа. Ну не дадут добить. А чё, они еще и пул разрез? Или одного потеряли?
Не, вроде все живые.
Офигеть.
Ой, Коэм вообще в кайфе.
Да.
Единственное, зря они забились внутрь и отдали фейзам гору, потому что они надоедать будут.
Умный свет для Алисы и набор химика. Надо посмотреть.
Блин, я купил себе умные эти лампочки, ну не умные, а знаешь, которые типа настраиваемые.
С Wi-Fi? А, настраиваемые? С
Да,
пультика?
всеми цветами там, да, все.
Ну, у меня такие
В
висят
итоге
надо мной.
я просто сделал теплый приглушенный свет и больше нахуй их не трогал никогда в жизни.
Алкаш. То есть это каждая лампочка с пультиком, да, пришла тебе?
Она не с пультиком, в телефоне просто настраиваешь каждую лампочку.
Понял. Привет, гончарная мастерская маленькая продается в Леонардо. Эмоций много было у ребенка. А родители там не повешаются потом от этой глины?
Шаман будет глиномес.
Это ребенок. В итоге выжили только ребята, которые улетели на парашюте, я правильно понимаю, из твайсов?
Нет, они прилетели, разменялись 1 в 1. Вот, забрали дом. Потом Батут приехал в ЛГ, ну, в Люминосити, сдох, а Перфект доехал. В итоге один, кто прилетел, выжил, и один, кто на тачке ехал, выжил.
Понятно. Может быть, действительно сертификат на какой-нибудь кружок интересный? Или на какое-нибудь занятие классное?
Да мне кажется, ребенок 5-летний не оценит сертификат именно. Как бы нет сути подарка, то, что тебе вот что-то дали.
Может быть, в какой-то квест-рум? Хотя для ребенка, наверное, это не сильно круто.
Мне кажется, детям надо что-то вещественное такое дарить, что он может поиграть, потрогать, там, не знаю.
Блин, 17-е охренели вообще в этом лобби.
position to try to defend this. Instead, they're just going to try to drift in. We're just talking about these sprinklers, not the best with that.
Так, что у нас четвертое? От воды сейчас будет. Накоем. Вангу.
Не накоем. Она же просто где больше берега, в ту сторону шифт.
Usually the mountains where day trade is considered unplayable terrain, considered water for all intents and purposes, and it will likely move away from that as time goes on.
So I want to point out the sleeping giants in 17 gaming right now. They really want to be going crazy in Impala, but they can't due to that day trade positioning. You can see now that not quite as much aggression coming out from day trade on the top as they're kind of still focused on that legacy down below them. Has now they're starting to try to take some peppering shots into what's going on with.
Ой, бля, чел какой-то душнило в чате. Как меня такие накаляют.
В каком плане душнило?
Свис. Он меня душит, что Твайс, это читается не Твайс, а Твис. Я тебе предлагаю сейчас вот англоязычным комментаторам написать письмо и сказать, что они неправильно произносят сокращенное название команды Twisted Minds.
Donna was trying to be on the hunt for more kills. It's going to be Loki that goes ahead and gets a knock and a quick flush, but James on the angle, going to get the knock on the soul. So a big component for Danawa is going to be down.
I think Danawa wanted to stop up and put some pressure on FaZe to try to buy themselves.
В переводчике звучит как Твес вообще.
Там каждый переводчик еще по-разному зачитывает, поди-ка.
And with the right on the Donowa, that means that FaZe has now shifted into our top 8, and that's what the name of the game is going to be about. Though, FaZe, you have to find a path into the circle. This squad, though, has a lot of information on what's going on to the east, so they have a couple of different ways that they can navigate this. They know exactly what's going on. Day trade, though, I'm very curious on how much they have left. Looks like ammo's still sitting pretty fine. They've been taking a couple of pot shots on their armor and helmet, but nothing.
Возможно, нужно вспомнить класс 5 английского языка. Закрытый и открытый слог. Кто помнит, может, правильно и знает как.
Hammering down, and eventually all of a sudden you're running low on 5-5 even though it's easy to carry quite a bit of 5-5 in your bag, it depletes very, very quickly. Osla taking the northern edge of the factory, tough position to play from. There's a lot of high ground around you. You're really exposed trying to make some of those maneuvers more further to the south and the east.
Можешь их просто 3+1 называть.
Спайра подожгли. Так, Movie Maker, если ты еще раз будешь как-то в негативном ключе, в оскорбительном высказываться там о моих сокомандниках, о моих тиммейтах, с теми людьми, с которыми я взаимодействую, я дам тебе горчичник. Пожалуйста, не опускайся до оскорблений. Если тебе кто-то не нравится, держи это при себе, пожалуйста. Мне тоже люди не все нравятся, но я не трублю об этом на каждом шагу. В принципе, им это незачем знать. Вова, ты вообще тут ни при чем. А зачем ему знать твое мнение? Ты думаешь, оно кому-то интересно? Не переоценивай, родной. As Foot also going to be rotating in just to the north of Legacy's position. So Day Trade wants to make sure that they're securing what's up next to them. They do have a lot of vision that they can work for right now. But keep in mind, Puchil's Belmont aren't inside the circle, so they are going to at least have to come down into the lower hills.
Блин, на Legacy вообще что-то слабо, конечно.
Нет, я буду твайсами называть, так и буду.
Osla trying to sneak underneath QM, being very, very slow about this, but yeah, it gets read, it gets identified. Hikari.
Movie Maker. Каждый сам делает то, что он хочет. И ни у кого разрешения на это спрашивать не надо. И оправдываться перед кем-то тоже не надо. Вот что я хочу в своей жизни, куда я хочу свои деньги тратить, то я туда я и буду. И разрешение мне ничего не нужно. И оправдание тоже. Ладно? Опа! Слушай, ну, как будто New Happy выглядит лучше, чем бразильцы. Сейчас New Happy прям вообще просто жесть.
Рынады и обнаглевшие, они даже упали вниз.
А Доузу надо отменять аптечку было и убивать типа, мне кажется. Ну ладно, справились без проблем. Может там из-за смока было не видно, конечно. Ну, квешн-марки одни в этой части сейчас.
Не одни, они с Т5-ми. Только вот Т5 уже на той стороне есть.
Ну, там они могут соседствовать, вообще не трогая друг друга никак.
Вот я говорю, да и обнаглевшие, они упали вниз. Они же не могут там идти по низу никак. Прям они идут вниз.
Они по верху тоже не могут идти?
Могут.
Они там дальше не могут идти же.
Могут вокруг скалы, где тиммейты сидят, на нижнем левеле просто играть. Вот видишь под флешем? Что вправо от скалы, что влево они могли играть. Вот видишь, где флеш сейчас упал? Откуда упал сейчас?
Так там они все равно, им дальше надо проходить в зону же.
Так вниз нельзя падать, они со скалы потом дальше проходят по скале.
Ну, может, они видели, что там надо фармить, и решили, что важнее пофармить. Нормально, Фил Фёрст. Должны его поднимать.
Как думаешь, Т5 будут в них идти?
Ну, как будто бы хотят. Блин, надо окно открыть.
Вот Т5 одного нокнули.
А тут душные в чатике душат.
Там Т5 одного нокнули.
А, это отлично. Кто?
Ну кто-то с города.
Не идут никуда Т5. Пока что. What can you do after you manage to make that jump down? Tiamba going to be looking right up into it, not even going to let him go for the jump, just shuts it down.
Yeah, still though, regardless, this is a really good game for Day Trade. I really like the way they played it. They keep themselves in third place here. You have nothing wrong with.
А что ты так рано аптечку юзанул? Умер за синькой, типа. Смысл?
Поинт не отдавать.
Ну да, там без вариантов для него так или иначе. Возьмут ли топ Церберусы? Думаю, что нет. Чё ревет? Притащил ребенка, блин. Ну, пока плохо играют что Коэмы, что Твайсы. Прям... Коэмы умирают.
Да не факт, кстати. До поля могут дойти.
Как будто умирают. Там потому что Тианба на горе стоят. Не знаю.
Адоус тампона нокнул.
Да, это хорошо. Есть, получается, такой момент, где они могут проходить, но...
Вон до колес слева добежать. У этой...
Ну там все равно смерть.
А что вот это за хрень? Она
Какая?
что делает? Типа собирает этот сено или что? Ну вот железная шняга такая.
Слушай, я не знаю. Надо посмотреть. Может быть, на ней стоги сушат или что-нибудь такое. Ну, вообще глупо, нет, стоги на земле. Она, получается, ее, подожди, она на колесах. Ее цепляют к какому-то тягачу, к трактору, чему-то. Надо посмотреть, как она выглядит. Я никогда даже не задумывался. О, так нихера она огромная. А-оу. А, это для полива, говорят. Да ладно. Такая балумба? Поливалка? Ни хрена себе.
Ну вон, кое мы дошли до этих... До поля.
Ну, сейчас Тианба освобождаются после футболистов и все. Нет? Как
Там
будто...
Церберус еще.
Ну, Церберус это в городе.
Ну раз их сейчас не убивают, значит они зачем-то стоят, как-то спрятались, либо их не видно, правильно?
Просто верхние эти амбушники, они смотрят город. Нет? Варда. Ну, не знаю, короче. Там full open под эту гору. Я просто помню. Как там они живут, не понимаю пока. Может быть, в смоках.
As we're looking at 2 kills, that's just the amount of harassment that he's been doing over here. He is going to have to make his way in. But yet again, remember when you get that high ground and you're harassing people, now everybody knows.
На, ну там микро-ЛГ, да.
Там только Варт увидит.
Да, Варт увидит. Ну да, еще поживут.
Wants to see if they can do some damage to T5. T5 is getting a little bit too close for comfort up underneath this hill. You don't want to give them a position to set up. There's quite a bit of cover actually right at the edge of this hill with this van, with these...
New Happy еще живые, блин, 1 поинт. Закатку заработали. Молодцы! Я жду лопату. А еще жду, чтобы можно было демонтировать дверь и прикрываться этой дверью как щитом. Типа такой выходишь с дверью, пока дверь не разбили. Как тебе? А?
Хрень какая-то. Проще щит добавить.
Ну, двери-то везде есть, понимаешь? А щит это лут-спот надо добавлять. Спаун, точнее, спот. Он будет забирать что-то. А дверь такой взял, вынес.
That grenade, if it's good, could be the end for Non. I think one way or another, he's pretty much done being abandoned. Yeah, the grenade did find the mark, so he is out of this one. Himas looking for Tiamba.
Блин, ну это, конечно, угар.
Playing smart, playing patient, phase 9 begins to close.
7 kills for them right now, as this is a very good game, and more opportunities going to be right up in front of them. Presently tied up with Cerberus, who only has 2 members up.
А еще круто было бы добавить в игру самосвалы, которые можно было бы брать на каком-то карьере, и они были бы забиты грунтом. И ты такой едешь на этом самосвале, останавливаешься и скидываешь грунт 1 раз. И укрытие. Туда.
Так там Коэм еще выиграть могут.
Вижу.
Смотри,
Вижу.
Финале.
Но там Т5 пул хотят контролить.
Т5 там втроем, и они Флада еще закрывают.
Единственное, что они ничего не нафармили, минус Адоус. Пестолыч не слышит? Наверное, нет.
Там смоки, я думаю, никак не услышишь.
Т5 выиграли, походу. Хотя там Тианба втроем еще с кайфом. Вдвоем уже. Ой, хорошо. Чапалах сорвало. Сдуло. Сани с оленями, на которых можно было бы летать на Новый год? Нет, PUBG же это игра про реализм.
Potentially 3, 4, T5. Hotwat sticking this res, but ZYY around the corner, knows where it is, wants to try to punish it. It's up. He hasn't done anything yet. They can't react in time.
Да куда ты убегаешь-то? Дерись просто. Разменял бы. ГГ.
Now, denying out the information. ZYY goes for the spray. It does spot it up. And there we go. Tiamba picks it up.
Huge win for Tiamba.
Ляни какие.
С чем-то сову напоминаю.
Этот чел вечно кривляется.
To that trophy room.
Man, that was a hard one for Tiamba to contend with. Remember, they were having to deal with Foot for so long. They were getting that day trade harassment. Yep. They had a very difficult path to make it.
И еще возможность напарника запихать в бочку, перекатить из дома в дом, если...
Let's go ahead and throw it over to our analyst desk to get you prepped for our chaos rounds.
Да. Ну, лопату надо добавлять. Чисто руду копать.
А еще я удивлен, почему не добавили ни одну анимацию, типа, знаешь, какую-нибудь похоронную.
Ну, потому что могут всякие господа, мне кажется, свои 5 копеек ставить, что это что-то где-то что-то оскорбляет.
Так почти все, что делают разработчики, оскорбляет 80% игроков.
Блин, ну я надеюсь, соберутся ребята, а то Last Chance смотреть и за одной, и за другой командой еще.
Ой, лута вообще убили даже ни с кем не с дома.
Так, ребят, у нас перерыв где-то 7 минут.
Super well executed towards the end there, and a few clutch situations, especially I love when Patampan got popped out.
I mean, it was a curveball, it was a switch up, it was a fastball.
Ой, неплохой ног.
Помнишь, я вот говорил, как это работает? Что ты просто бежишь в доме, нокаешь у себя и чего.
Да, да, это я, конечно, понимаю, но как будто бы на таких поворотах нельзя. Хотя, если это 100% будет нок, и у тебя есть напарники, тогда, конечно, можно так сыграть. И ты знаешь, что чел там всего один. В целом, почему бы и нет. Нихера там Химас, блин, нормально по ним. Клаву купил себе, теперь расскажи, как настроить сенсу. Не понял. Причем тут клава и сенса? Так, перерыв у нас небольшой с вами, так что увидимся через 5 минуточек. Я отойду, там пошел по подарку еще поговорю.
Shot that made the difference because he was at the disadvantage when it came to the HP stack going into that. Very impressive play from Tiamba. My name's Toppies. I'm joined by Avenger here on the desk. Game 2 is done. We've only got 4 left to go, and you don't want to go to the last chance qualifier. It sounds ominous. It is ominous. You got to be in the top 8.
You have to. You got to. Some
be
would
in the
say.
top 8.
And of course, CYY here, 5 kills, almost 1,000 damages as well. That is just insane. These guys, yeah, as I said here, coming out of a Western looting path for them and being able to get into this and win an urban ending. This is just what we wanted to see from them to really put themselves into the contest. And
I just can't get over ZYY. He's the man of the match. And remember, this guy was in the development program. The biggest prize pool, if I remember looking earlier, was about $187. Like, this guy has worked hard to get his shot.
Yeah, before PCL.
And when given the shot, when he gets the call up, he has been nothing but amazing. That's why you train to be a star, and he's quickly becoming one here at PGC 2023. Let's look at the match leaderboard. Tiamba walked away with 22 total points. Hometown Heroes 2 times. T5 and Day Trade both walking away in good positions too.
Yeah, good amount of points for them. Cerberus another good, decent game for them considering what they got out of it. And yeah, for CYY, super impressive. That puts them up in a tied second place with Danova. They break the tie though with the most placement points. And again, for CYY's first rookie here at PGC, super impressive.
Now, I want to point something out. 17, 97 points, top of the board. Sonics in 7th with 47 points. We saw something interesting in that last match. That was not 17's drop. They put all 4 players on top of Sonics outside of their area. Should I expect this to continue? It looks like they're maybe looking to keep them out.
You know, if you are currently safe and the grand finals and you have a few games to go and you're like, okay, these guys could potentially be our biggest rivals. If you want to mess a little bit with their mental, it's definitely to hot drop them. And yeah, I respect that. But they're not, I feel like, are they focusing them on to make sure they go into last chance, or are they trying to, you know, just mess with them mentally? Because obviously Sonics has decent amount of points, but they have to hard focus them 4 more games. And I feel like it's just hard to do that across 3 maps, because remember, we have 1 weekend, 1 take, and then 2 wrangles to finish things off with. So
this feels to me like the PUBG equivalent of trash talk, right? Like, we don't have the interview. We don't necessarily have the time to sort of throw shade at each other. So I do think that's it. Maybe a hot drop here says, hey, guys, just so you know, we're watching and we're ready when the time comes. So it was a beautiful play. It was a challenge. H-Win goes down, and Sonics kind of had to play catch-up from that moment on. Will it continue? That's the question. Now, in just a moment, we're going to head to our next match. Don't go anywhere. A break, and then game number 3.
Unleash my shopping spree.
Duty-free from big brands.
At all King Power stores and King Power online.
It's possible. Enjoy great selections, promotions, and privileges.
The power of possibilities. King Power.
Hanuman's forces have set up their barrier. They are waiting for sunrise before they release their guard.
With my magic, the night will turn. Enemies beware. Mayara is coming for you.
ยืนหนึ่งมันไม่ง่ายแต่ไม่ยากที่จะทำแค่ตั้งใจและสนุกกับมัน
เท่าแก่น้อยตอบโจทย์ทุกไลฟ์สไตล์แบรนด์สาหร่ายยอดขายอันดับ 1ถ้าสาหร่ายต้องเท่าแก่น้อย
It's only a perfect victory when the whole team lives.
know where he's going.
So I think our team has been structured a little bit better. We're just looking for the long term. We want to be as good as we can, you know, a year from now. We're not really thinking just about this tournament.
And welcome back, as we're going to be moving into our two middle rounds where we've got ourselves Tego and Vikendi to add in a little bit of spice to what is the normal world. Speaking of spice and teams adding some, we are apparently in the middle of the 17 villain arc.
Yeah, man. I mean, again, it's just... It crossed my mind as we were coming into that game. I'm like, you know, 17 has enough points. They can kind of do whatever they want. And we saw this with Tianba, this team right here, who just won a game during their group stage, that once they had enough points, they started messing with Donawan. Now they paid the price and kind of killed their groove during the group stage. Not that it mattered. Again, they were fine, and you can see that it hasn't affected them here when it matters again in the winner's bracket. Donawan, plenty of smiles. I mean, again, they're racking up enough points. They're getting kills on the edges. They're fine, and they're having a good time today. Loki and Anonix were really fired up before this first match. They were dancing. They were having some fun. They were trying to get me to do some taekwondo with them. I don't know, but they're having a good time today.
That seems like it's dangerous with the amount of energy that they've got going on right now.
Yeah.
That would be just your butt getting handed to you, I think.
I would get destroyed, yes.
Well, we don't have time to talk about how much you would get your butt kicked by different players, as we're going to be making our way into Tego. So let's go ahead and kick off the action. Plane Path is going to be up next to Wulsong and going pretty much just south of Gangneung.
Yeah, fairish plane path. On Tego, you'd prefer these to be a little bit more western central if you wanted them to be truly fair, because a lot of teams don't drop up in the northeast. How you doing? Yeah, it's a crash plane too, but I'm curious about the hot drop in Yeongcheon. If that is going to be happening in the Dragon Creek, that's what that city means if you're curious. Yong is dragon, Cheon is like a creek or a river. That's it. You know, right by the river there makes a bit of sense. And yeah, New Happy is committing to this. So Donald was happy to take this fight, frankly. They dominated them the last time And, you know, with the position they're in compared to New Happy, you will, even if you lose this, you're not going to be that discouraged.
Where is 17 Gaming going? It looks like they've got eyes maybe a bit more on that As line. Not too much there. They're pretty much going to where they normally go. As is going to be going where they normally go. Dana was going to have to come up with an H. That's pretty much common. We knew that this was going to be going on. There is the foot QM Tyloo situation over here, as Tyloo can't really make it to the... Keep in mind, plane path is going to be diminishing down. So, like, yes, normally on a regular plane path, you might be able to make it down to Studio or Songlong. Not going to be the case this time around.
Onyx got an ump, and he's right next to two players, and he is not letting go, trying to punish the fact that he dropped a little bit faster, and he catches him looting.
I saw the pan in hand, and I was getting hope for 1 second. And Onyx on a tear right now. Got to go for the reload. Luckily, SMGs are going to reload very, very quickly, so now just taking a step out. He knows where they were at. Seeing if maybe he's going to wrap back around, go for the res in, and it is just a Onyx feeding all that information over as Loki's going to spot out one as well.
Yeah, Loki here on the cover fire, and Onyx is so fired up right now with his ump. Only 10 more bullets left in this, though.
I love to see it. Ming last up right now is this is a problem for him. He is separated away, and it is a bit more complicated as it is just going to be flushing out those kills right now. How are we going to see Donna want to react to this one? Most notably, what is Ming going to do? I will also point out the circle did pop while this was going on. We have it mostly on that northwestern island.
And Ming's going to smash some glass, and that's going to alert Donawa to his position. You can hear glass for a pretty decent amount of distance, and certainly an Onyx or potentially Loki was close enough to hear that. So now I think Donawa might just be like, yep, we did it, job done. We don't need to maybe over-aggress into this. I already see Salute and Soul peeling out of the city itself to rotate or just go for a different loot location.
I mean, damage done, right? We've been talking about points per game. Donovan was one of the teams that can continue to do it. 3 points, not even really before the first circle starts to condense is, I mean, pretty good start to everything, all considered, as it looks like they are going to actually be crossing back over that bridge. Asla's going to be crossing the bridge just to the south of them, so Ming is safe for now. We'll have to keep an eye and see how he manages to deal with those rotations.
The bad news here for Asla, for Hikari, who's going as a solo to try to cross that bridge, is there is a Panzerfaust in the car that Loki and Salute and Soul are in, but actually it's the other car. Loki and Onyx are going to cross paths right by him. I don't know if there's going to be anything that comes of it. Just a micro Uzi. It's a little tricky to really do some serious damage unless you're point blank with that thing. So, yeah, it's just a drive-by. I thought for a second it was going to be Salute and Soul that were driving by. Poor Hikari there, and then he was just going to die to a Panzer.
I just love the fact that we're getting SMG damage numbers up.
Yeah.
Because I have a...
Got to pump those numbers.
Man, those are rookie numbers.
Those rookie numbers.
I love SMGs. They haven't really had a place in a while inside of our meta, outside of hot drops and whatnot. But as we're starting to see more of a condensed down, shotguns have started entering the meta a bit more. So SMGs for that kind of mid-range fighting technique, not necessarily finding the home with ARs just being so dominant. But, I mean, hey, I'll take SMG damage where I can find it. 17 Gaming is also going to be looking like they're trying to get across the bridge Asla just took, while Twisted Minds was eyeing this one. I think that they spotted Lou getting into position early, and 2 squads nobody wants to contend with right now are going to be Donovan and 17 Gaming, who just love to jump in the thick of everything.
No doubt about it, but this makes things tricky now for Twisted Minds. They were hoping to jump that bridge, but with it being camped by 17, they have to run into where these two teams are, potentially where Tianba and Cerberus have just crossed. So if Cerberus had gotten stopped up,
Ё-моё, я все пропустил. Так, короче, походу мы остановились. Позвонил папе девочки, и походу мы остановились на графическом планшете. Так что, алоха, твой вариант будем использовать, если ты тут еще. А, у нас New Happy уже втроем сдохли. Но я у тебя спрашивал, какая у тебя клава, ты еще говорил за спам, за баню. Купил себе Dark Project 87, теперь страдаю. В настройке сенсы на мышке. Что, тебе как клавиатура, которую ты купил? Такую же, как у меня купил в итоге? А Скуп тут у нас?
Foot and QM, but QM is doing a rotation in vehicles. It's just really far away. Foot may be stopping down right now as they might have an option to go with an emergency pickup. 17 Gaming is playing fairly center of the circle. Looks like they're going to be just kind of that northeastern area of the center.
Well, Foot was thinking about an E-pickup. I think they're going to put the brakes on
Ими
and
тут
try to harass QM's rotation.
контролирует QM.
To the east of Songam. So they have a really good opportunity to do some damage.
Ой, QM сейчас убьют, походу.
Edge of the map to make their rotation. So could be relatively safe.
Блин.
Try to sniff this out in some way or another. Switching the vehicles there for a doozy, gonna get away unscathed.
О, не убьют!
And I think this is actually okay for QM. I think they're gonna dodge Foot here.
Задоджили.
Everything around Hosan's pretty open, so nothing really to be too concerned with. What we do need to be concerned with is that 8th place position that Foot's presently being held down into. It is 39 points, then a drop off into a tie between LG FaZe.
Финал будет в выходные в следующие.
Lou just 2 points back behind. So Squad Wiper 2 can get you up into that top 8, but Foot's position is very precarious right now.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Foot, hopefully they have an emergency pickup. That's a good way they can get up to the north side, maybe get up on the mountain north of Godok. And set up from there. Day trade.
Ну, победа QM'ов реабилитирует в целом. От Вайса, если победят, они закрепятся.
So they're going to take the shipyard and the mini shipyard across the way. Could take a boat over to the other side if they so choose. They did maybe hear Legacy cross past Seoul, who took one of the compounds in between.
Капец, футболисты сейчас еще быстрее, чем QM приедут. Last Chance уже завтра, по-моему, да. Я не понял, а там Арти-то когда домой едут?
Rotation path.
A lot of the teams pretty much kind of hang along this canal. The channel itself that's going to be cutting from the island is not wanting. I mean, your bets are pretty much that it's going to be going to the northwestern island that Godok is going to be on, but a lot of teams
Вайсы поверху заезжают.
in that one, so not necessarily playing more centered in those areas that you were talking about were open, and that's allowing our later rotators to kind of have some options.
У них пока все хорошо.
I guess this present meta not be available.
Right. Exactly. It is kind of.
Сегодня у нас определится топ-8 финалистов. Уже железобетонно. Я запись смотрел, у меня этих планшетов 2 штуки разной диагонали. И чё? Какой брать?
Credit where credit's due, you know, 17, you might not like it, you might be, you know, if you're a Sonics fan in particular, you might be angry about it.
Надо еще, чтобы они в Ижевске в наличии где-нибудь были. Сейчас буду после стрима смотреть. Здравствуй, Джесси.
So, I mean, sure, Sonics wants to be guaranteed moving into that grand final. Everybody wants that, but it's not necessarily the worst.
Ну, это в любом случае не финальное же лобби, это просто сетка винеров. Минус бестолочь. Все-таки футболисты настигли QM'ов. Чё они их так руинят?
Что тут происходит?
Ну, Нью-Хэппи умирают.
That's going to be at least 1 point more safety as 8 points behind them with Foot.
Unlucky, чё?
You know the fact that after the last game, that's got to be at least something to get the momentum back.
Может, у ебанов будет меньше с припиской бегать.
Big time discussion going on with the Sonics, of course, backstage. After this, I just caught a glimpse of them. You know, serious mode engaged for them for sure. And yep, no ambiguity.
О, так твисты с кайфом сейчас заедут.
Да? Это зона примерно на Т5 будет, на Тонаде. Плюс-минус. Между ними чуть ниже, может. Как будто бы я ее очень часто видел.
ОМ где уже потеряли?
Их футболисты что-то на ротациях крысят. В одном месте КОМы заевейдили, Но футболисты поехали по пути, который короче, и встретили их потом уже дальше. Сейчас еще Коэма на мосту могут откиснуть.
And that's an entirely different spray pattern too. Is even whenever you're used to shooting people driving in vehicles, all that other stuff, it's a different tempo, a different timing, and even the player has some control over that tempo on their landing. So that is just experience being shown.
No doubt. And that's, you know, if
Елизавете Вадимовне, у Вадима дочери.
that and more on his own stream, the guy is just beyond belief with some of the stuff he's able to put up. QM, after losing a player, is going to get across the bridge and immediately pivot to the west. Tyloo putting some parting shots into them, but I don't think QM will take any damage in that exchange. However, they're turning in right towards LG. LG's in a 3-1 split. Rello had gone up to the front of the field to try to keep Day Trade contained, keep them out of LG space, and QM is going to pull up short of running.
Ну ладно, Коэмы доехали. Футболисты тоже без проблем переезжают. Твайсы даже в гудок не стали заезжать.
That's kind of it right now. We have Foot that's going to be the tail end, but they're going to be coming on the eastern bridge of Fishing Camp. And yeah, Correx is going to take some shots in, but the pathing that they found is going to be pretty open to the south, and they should at least be able to get a foothold in those hills.
Yeah, there might be some crates available for phase.
Здравствуй, Матусан. Да, нормально все.
But in Golduck, you have a couple different teams. You have Osla, Legacy, Twisted Minds on the outside to the north, T5 on the outside to the south. So we saw T5 have a really good game in the one we had in Golduck in the group stage during the first day of the event. Where they were able to do some pretty good damage there. Maybe it was the second day. I think it was first day. Anyway, but Tiamba, I think, got the better of them in that one. And FaZe here now starting to flex out.
Ролики дарили.
They can. I should have said Fex out. That would have been so much better.
Oh, that would have been good. All right, we'll save that one for later. Fex, though, moving into what is Tiamba territory.
А ты бы мог стать киберкотлетой в PUBG? Но я ей был в 2018 году.
So close in, James going to be counter moving around. Tiamba is a bit vulnerable in this position. Looks like they're
Играл
trying to retreat
в организации.
but really it's just going to be this 1-2.
Потом решил, что это мне неинтересно и невыгодно, и ушел. Стримить, на мой взгляд, интереснее и выгоднее.
Up close and personal, and also do a little bit of damage. The problem is James has wrapped so far out to try to find the flank, the contain onto Tiamba that he got himself into the sightlines of 17, took some damage for it. Now he's stabilized for now. The real question is can he get back involved in the fight?
А прок-то немножечко не тот.
Okay, LG in a great position because this is a lot of fields to try to contend with. Godock still has a smidgen of.
Ну, по крайней мере, для Коэмов нормально и для Твайсов нормально. Но сейчас Жилу подымут.
Managed to stop him out, so at least some positioning smoke's gonna come out, maybe get the res.
Yeah, and now Day Trade has found Legacy rolling into their territory, and they're making them pay for it. Meanwhile, there was Rello who went back to the compound with the safety of the rest of his team, and they're now making Legacy pay for this risky rotation they took, cut across a couple different teams. I mean, unfortunate timing to run into Twisted, FaZe, Tiamba, and Cerberus, I think, about to square off, and Foot involved. There's 4 teams right in the southeast corner of this map.
This is just a death trap waiting for all of these teams. Tiamba's trying to hold out. It's going to be FaZe moving into this. They thought maybe they had the information to work with. The problem is there is just a target-rich environment that's going to be in front of him. Tiamba's just going to try to hold the line up against it. Great job so far. Stops him off in the palace, but let's not forget there is still Cerberus up to the north, and 80 even taking some shots in.
Yeah, this is, I mean, Tiamba's so fired up, and ZYY and 7-7 having a field day. Pow as well yesterday, coming up big, although the ZYY will be flushed out there, I believe. Pow.
Блин, поздно доставка сезона, надо искать тут у себя в каком-нибудь DNS в наличии.
Is he going to be able to protect this, or is he going to play off of the contact of Corexy being flushed? No, he's got a great angle down on top of him.
That is dirty to work with. Vex at least going to get a bit of vengeance back. Already going for the spray out. Nade's going to bounce, get some damage, but not get the knock. See teammate trying to crawl forward. Corexy just trying to feed information over.
Minus Vex.
Is it going to bounce the same way? Hits the hillside. doesn't go quite the angle that was wanted. You can see Fex just waiting for the peek around, not going to be able to spot it out. Good defensive nades coming out from that one, not allowing Fex to get any damage.
Yeah, and he took a headshot there too. So
Блин, но он может подбегать.
He's going to be able to regroup with that utility too. Gets the helmet and the fresh vest. So 7-7 feeling really good about that fight. Potentially Vard trying to look into it. Cerberus did not really budge too much. They were fighting the other end of Tianba.
Ну, Яндекс.Маркет у нас тоже алё, но там надо сроки доставки смотреть.
Lost one player, yeah. They lost one player. Fex with the blue on his back. Gonna try to get through. Not easy to get grenades into this building necessarily. It's pretty wide open on the inside. So 7-7 gonna be trying to dodge, but Foot's beamy.
Yeah, this is the problem with it for FaZe, man, is yeah, okay, you managed
Минус
a
фейзы.
bit, but you needed to get some points there in that 10th place position. You need to climb a bit more. Tiamba in more comfortable position in second. This is not going to be the best game for him. And yeah, 7-7.
Сейчас будет прок.
Foot's just waiting. Cerberus is waiting. You're as good as dead unless you.
Блин, там Твайс в какой-то помойке. В ЛГшке.
As the blue zone's going to close, that might happen. Will they get the reprieve? Where are we going to be going? And surprise, surprise, it's right onto that field.
Блин, ты чё?
Going to look similar to some of the circles we've seen so far in Tego. A lot of that, you know, kind of box-to-box fighting that the rice fields create. Twisted Minds in the circle. Let's see where they want to go. Under pressure from a mortar. That is squeaky bum time there for sure for Twisted Minds.
Сын пройти не может, зато мячик ко мне кидает, блин.
One of these fields early. This is the challenging thing as a team. When you get into these fields early, you open yourself up to a backside. So you have to position those vehicles really nicely to give yourself some chance of defending.
Regrouping happening as it is going to be Spyro of Twisted Minds has a foothold for his squad. Cerberus going to be pathing through here. Bumps into an awkward spot. There's going to be high mass that is going to be going.
Ну, раз врезался, останусь тут, да?
Encroaching into an area where there's just not a lot to be had. These fields, yes, we talked about it yesterday. There are a couple of dips in every single one of them.
Не знаю, какая-то... Да как он опять тут?
Cerberus trying to fight their way in. Sonic's also going to be coming in from the south, right back behind LG and Tyloo in its own independent fight that's going to be happening. And see now T5 also getting some vision of what's going to be happening onto the eastern point where Twisted Minds is trying to defend.
Собака, ты где вообще?
Да
тут я тут. Чё молчишь? Чё за позицию выбрали Твайсы вообще, жесть?
Gonna connect onto Perfectix. More grenades being loaded up and thrown out. That one goes a little bit too far. Spyro maybe getting in the vehicle. Out in the open is Batul, and Spyro down. Just Lou alive, and that grenade may end up spelling disaster, and it does.
New set of targets for T5 as they have now realized this is ours. But guess what? Cerberus, we ain't done yet. We're going to continue this pathing in, and Cerberus needs to defend up. Luckily, there is no third party right now as Foot has bumped into what's going on with Sonics. Stalled down into the north. Here's that 17 Gaming lined up against Aslafite. We're talking about.
Руслан, ну так тренироваться надо. Ты ничего там не настроишь. Тебе только надо чувствительность мыши настроить так, как надо. Сделать, выбрать DPI либо 400, либо 800. Опрос мыши, чтобы был Герц.
Those two teams too busy keeping each other out of this next circle, or Daytrade more trying to keep Donowa out of the next circle. Sonic's here with Foot, looking down over that hill, but the blue has arrived. Blue zone bag for Shrimsy is going to buy him a little bit of time and space to kind of stick around.
И настраивать чувствительность, а дальше учиться контролировать спрей. У вас, говорит, не трясется, а у меня все трясется. Ну ты деловой, ты думал дело в мышке, что ли? Нет, надо тренироваться.
Has a real opportunity to do some damage, but Donowa is afforded the opportunity to try to rotate, but it's caught. Loki down to 4 HP. Puccio so good.
That is very well done.
Маленькая жопа, блин. Отвлекает.
Still going to be able to curve down, get some nades into it. What is going to be happening next as it is going to be 17 Gaming getting eliminated off into the distance. Are we going to see Daytrade try to defend up against this QM line? Yes, that's going to be the new situation. Sonics do get eliminated in that fight with the Foot down to the south.
Ой, что-то наши ребята плохо играют.
Yeah, we didn't get to see the fight between Ozla and 17, but they ended up pushing up and over that hill. Finally found the timing and the confidence to make the move.
Насколько уверенно играют азиаты? Просто топ-6 команд все азиаты.
У них просто выборка больше, понимаешь?
Ну, выборка больше может быть в Китае.
Да не, по популярности игры. У нас-то что, сиську пиво взял, ну, одной рукой мышку держишь, другой либо пиво, либо сиську жены, и сидишь в кусте. Ну, типа, скилл не растет. Не надо. А у них там, ну, типа, менталитет такой, что они сидят, даже самые крипы тренируются. Чтобы даже паблики играть нормально.
Некоторые играют на 1600 DPI, да?
Is going to be it when the circle leaves them, having to come out. No, but you have good control over the space. Here, Donat trying to find the weak side around these teams, and they're going to have to step up. This is not a fun place to be. This is a really dangerous hay bale stash to be in.
Does open up some angles for day trade to try to exploit those mortars are going to be going into Tyloo's line. CT5 not able to make too much of a shift out from it.
После группового этапа казалось, как будто бы у Коэмов не все в порядке с моралью.
Now T5, what are you going to do off this point? They should be able to get the res. It's going to be a Legacy take the shots into day trade at range as RBN is going to get that knock. And Tyloo, man, they're just having the kitchen sink thrown at them right now.
А Доус что-то Данте не спас.
They're able to dodge these. They do lose a car to those mortars. Another one of those ponies is really beat up. In the meantime, LG successful defense against here. Donat realized their position was dangerous. They're going to try to rotate ahead. I think they only
нахер.
Nasty stuff there. And here's that spray down from Adder. Nasty stuff. Him and Wicked combining a caught on the other end.
Как же они тут 17-х пёхали. М это живут еще? Хоть и один, но живет, даже в зоне. Подожди, я что-то пропустил, а почему ДФ двое осталось? Что произошло?
Не знаю.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. If Tyloo maybe wants to take this position, they may be forced to. They might try to find an opportunity to come up and over the hill.
Я тоже, походу, много чего пропустил.
Their backline. So this is a really tricky spot here for Tyloo. They either got to go up to the corner that's in the circle between the road and the edge of the field, or they got to try to pressure one of these teams that are on their flank. Now, T5's reign of destruction just continues. RBN stuck inside of a shack and flushed out.
Gizera still alive, but getting harassed by, I was going to say flash range. He's going to go ahead and go down. Now, Asla trying to regroup very close to Belmoth. Keep in mind, Daytrade has been just hunkered down in this position for oh so long. T5 wanted to try to pass.
А почему в DNS нету планшетов от Xiaomi? Не понял.
Well, this has opened up space for Tyloo to go into that corner I was just talking about, so they're going to be able to post up there. Meanwhile, LG just keeping their flanks as clear as possible. Hearing this vehicle from a Tungmu kept them a little bit distracted on the backside, but no problems at all for either of these teams right now. They're going to be in close proximity, but not danger close just yet. Snakers watching T5. T5 is just going to try to fan out over this center field. This is so dangerous.
Проходить будут 8 команд.
Zhaoyang gets the knock on to Snakers. That should be resible right now, but that does mean the control that Luminosity has had on the circle is.
Проходка будет поинтов около 70.
Could be a factor for LG to try to use a moment ago. I think I saw at least one or two nades that they have stuffed down inside their packs.
Ну, не факт, потому что 17-й очень много поинтов на себя забирает.
У нас сколько еще? 3 игры получается?
Если вот эти первые 3 команды будут много поинтов съедать, то общая проходка может быть меньше. Типа середина будет плотной, но поинтов немного.
На, какая хорошая, повторить. На! Но они не могут выходить вроде, да?
Ой.
Ой-ой-ой. Но идти они туда не могут. Сейчас подымутся. Вот это хорошая последняя вроде. Нет. О, едет, хорошо. Но он сюда приехал умирать, походу. Жестко.
Справился. Можно еще и налутать ящиков там.
Ну да. А Доус сейчас могли жить вместе с Данте. Я так и не понял, почему Адоус Данте не поднял. But the blue zones are already out. Day Trade has spotted him, and they want to try to clear him out. And in fact, they're starting to hit. He's GG. Yep.
LG had the opposing angle onto it, so it's just going to clear him out. And there is your one piece of cover that you can play if you are Day Trade. And boy, they want it quick. They're going to go ahead and hop down in the vehicles. I wouldn't be surprised if they could stop down over there.
Ну, двойную синьку не перехилить.
А его там убил все равно LG-шка.
Will be very useful for Day Trade. You can see they're going right to the looting. Gonna get that AUG. For Belmoth, plenty of ammo now as well. LG flexes out into this car fort, into these hay bales again. These are really dangerous.
Ну, Азлы должны сейчас убить Тайлу и выиграть игру.
These folded shields, you can control that space. The problem is Tyloo's still behind them. Doesn't matter. Snakers finds the knock onto Shen. Now only 2 up for Tyloo. Shen is moving out extremely fast.
Day Trade is also pretty focused in onto this position. Snaker's going to go ahead and hop inside.
Подстава.
Try to regroup. Blue zone's going to be right next to him. Dude, Day Trade have the angle in. Tyloo wants a piece of it as well. We're going to be looking at essentially 2 different fights. That road is going to be a big line cutting through it, and it kind of raises up. You can see Azla moving in.
Азлы оказались на 12-й строчке. Охренеть, блин. Но они за 3 матча ничего не набрали, конечно. Отлично.
Wicked is having a crazy good game. Over 500 damage already for the Azla IGL. Absolutely.
Ну чё, победа для Азлы может быть вполне.
Basically sent them out of this lobby. Flash with a car to hold down against this firing line that Luminosity has set up against him. But so far they haven't really found much damage. Akkad though knows he's right there, sees the smoke, sees the shot.
У меня шкет мелкий пришел провода грызть.
О, скоро начнется. Короче, по-хорошему надо сразу двойную синьку давать в такие места.
Азла выиграла?
Нет, пока еще не похоже на это даже. Они еще могут играть спокойно дальше. Сейчас Дэи умрут. Я думаю, да, тут как бы 80%, что Азла выиграла. Наши 13-я и 14-я строчка. В итоге...
По-братски вместе стоят.
Да. Походу еще Last Chance весь смотреть придется, блин. Судя по тому, как наши ребята играют сейчас.
Напомню, прошлый глобал, как бы, ну, наши выиграли.
And Lord knows those tractors aren't good. You've got the wheel for some type of cover, but they're so open underneath of them, you can just get shot down so easily.
Yeah, they're worse than the sprinklers on Miramar, man.
True, man, true.
They're not the best. The thing I'm concerned about here for Azla, though, is the lack of utility. I don't see any smokes. Maybe Akkad has a few, but I'm not sure.
Ну, рюкзачок.
Yeah.
Ненадолго. Не успеет же.
In sending those points over.
Instead, now it's just going to be as aligned into LG. It's going to be about that fight for dominance. Mine's going to be moving right up into the thick of it.
О, ног по Азле есть. Азла решили закинуть игру?
exchange with Mime going down as well. 2 members up for LG as there is just one more up and a COD just to the north of it. LG looks like they're fighting and getting control over this right now. They've got the center dot. They've got the ridge line to play. A COD. Can you get this res safe enough? And it looks like Snickers is realizing...
Блин, у меня в семье барабанщик еще появился.
Yeah, res for res, but Snakers has a good position to punish. Rello is going to get the clean.
Да, кстати, Luminosity выиграли.
Yes, Hikari's back
Да.
on his feet. Akkad starting to throw some stuns, expecting this push from Snakers. Really good read on this situation, and he's got the knock.
Good read, but it's going to be countered on the opposing side. Mime, who just got rezzed up. Hikari looking down into the smoke wall that is just absolutely massive for him to work with. Trying to step down into it. It is going to be Rello leading the way. Spots up, gets a bit of a spray, but it's going to go down.
Или не да.
On one side, Mime playing the smoke on the other one, creeping forward, and now it's going to be Aslan that has
Так.
control over the circle, but LG takes the game.
Great play there at the end from Mime, and LG has been really close.
Ну, посидели в кемпике 9 зон. Ладно, 8.
That much needed chicken dinner. Confidence has to be just brimming for Luminosity.
Woo, man, that was a meat grinder of a game to work your way through. And you can
Так, сейчас у нас будет в викенде, чатик, самая интересная карта на этом турнире. Так что у нас перерыв примерно опять 3 минутки. Руслан, можно все эти линки заказать. В Xiaomi можно получить завтра после 17 до 30 октября. Просто проверил. Спасибо, Лекс, гляну. Все, ребят, через 3 минуты.
It's Tego and it's Luminosity. We thought they might have lost a little bit of speed when Flood went down, but they held their position, they caught a circle, and they made the most out of it as they take home the chicken dinner. But let's look back at the highlights.
Yeah, I love it when these northern circles doesn't go dark.
Yeah,
because
nice.
we get these more kind of refined endings where there's a little bit different space. It's
refined.
Yeah, it's not like we've seen a lot of these endings, right? It's like that far south. LG had some greedy splits. First the compounds further west, and they had a Rello posted further in case it actually went dark. But here they go back. They lose Flood though. I was a little bit worried for them, but as a 3-man they hauled on. Overall, some crazy fights. Tyloo actually, I was hoping for a little bit more for them. They had 4 guys strong for a long time. They looked like to be this kind of stronger force, but then they lost cars, multiple cars, to the Mortars, of course, which is a huge thing, especially these field endings here, which made them actually have a really rough push from Master Pentagram that they couldn't defend from, right? They didn't have any cover, they only had 1 smoke, and Master Pentagram did that and executed quite well from that. So really impressed with Master Pentagram's game overall. Nate's here on T5 completely obliterated them.
Yeah, Oz let me think of that push against Danger was absolutely beautiful, and this is where we come down to that final, and it was sort of a 2v1 and then a 2v2 and then a 1v1. It was about as exciting as you could ask for when it comes to an end game, and it was sort of, we talk often about those roads acting as rivers when it comes to some of these maps, and that's what it was. 2 teams on opposite sides that had to find a way to make the play up over the top, and those are my favorite fights to watch. Welcome back to the desk. My name's Stockton, I'm joined by Avenger. I love watching that sort of like peak battles.
That's what I love from Tego, right? Because you have deep fields, you have these trenches in between, not so much in the northern side, it was a little bit flatter. That's also why it made it hard for Tyloo, right? They couldn't post 1 or 2 guys up towards the next trench because it was a low one. So especially with how the roads are and the fields are there deep, and the way that Pentagram played that, you know, they managed to get a hold on that northern side that actually opened up everything. Then if Daytrade took the fight to LG, then they would have been asked the Pentagram's fight here. But yeah, they got 8 kills out of this. LG though, 21 points.
24 smokes from Osla Pentagram. That is how they lasted so long and were able to make that push. It was insane, but that's the value of utility, especially in these fields. Now let's take a look at this WWCD team stats. Damage output, incredible coming from Mime and Snakers. We saw Rello get those 2 kills. Flood went out early, so that's why he looks that way. But I think it is a indisputable man of the match that will go to Snakers, the young superstar. 5 kills, 7 knockouts, over 1,000 damage.
Yeah, 1,119 damage. Good to see here. The 1K clubber at PGC. We don't have many of them, but now Snakers is, of course, I feel like he might have had one in the PGC 2022, if I remember correctly. But 21 points, they needed that. I said it.
You said it.
They had 38 points going into this one here. I would like to see them. I would like to see them around the 60-point mark after this game, because that circle. You also saw how little they traveled. That circle is a circle that is. They're doomed to lose it.
What you're saying is you're not going to get that lucky again.
You're not going to get that lucky again after the jungle. The jungle compound. They're going to have to do something about it. 59 here. That puts them a little bit ahead. There's also a little bit of a gap starting between 7th and 9th, right? 14 points difference. Effectively, win with 4 kills, right? A good match. So there's a little bit of a gap starting.
They jump over Sonics, which I think Sonics will probably take personally and look for them to go big on the next one. We're heading to Vikendi for the next match, which has been a bit of a wild card in terms of teams, right? Some seem not to play the mountains very well, seem to struggle with the difference in geography. I'm curious to see how that affects some of these teams, but it is 3 games left to play. There's no time to make mistakes.
It is, and it's been a wild weekend, actually, the whole Iron Sunday. But in general here, the question for me is 17 gonna post up and look for some more Sonics fights? Because now they're in the cusp, 8th place, right? We have 2 or 3 teams that are chasing in their 40s. So could 17 Gaming potentially push them out? Remember, this is revenge from doing it at a PGS. Like, Sonics had the opportunity, they took it to them.
There's no way to snow, but there will be lots of snow as we get ready to go to the snowy slopes of Vikendi, where anything can happen. 3 games left to play. The top 8 advance. The bottom 8 go to the last chance qualifier. This is the moment where the teams on the bottom have to make a statement. Will they show up? Will they put up? Or will they start to earn their ticket to that last qualifier? We'll find out. Here's a team that is traditionally strong on Sundays. FaZe, I think, needs to show up and have a big moment.
They have 4 placement points in 9 games.
Whew, not good.
No. That is the reason why they're not in the top 8 mark currently.
That's the definition of bad. You need more than that. So let's see if FaZe can turn it around. It's Sunday. It's time for them to make a move. Maybe it'll happen. Let's go to Vikendi for game number 4.
Oh, Vikendi. I do love you so much. We have a moment right now before this kicks off.
Okay.
And we need to talk about this. Bears have been kind of a component in a lot of these games. Apparently, a group of bears can be called a sloth, a sleuth, a pack, or a maul.
That's a lot of different ways to talk about a group of bears.
I think it's kind of confusing to call a pack of bears a sloth, and I don't consider them to be too detective-y, sleuth-like.
Nope.
So are we going to go with maul because it just sounds cool?
A maul of bears, I like it.
A maul of bears. I mean, they do kind of run up and slap you.
Exactly.
Right?
I think that's the most apt of all of those. Absolutely. I'm right there with you. Well, I don't know. We'll see if the Bears have a role to play in this one. They've had a few says here and there so far throughout the event, but they are maybe, you know, again, they're by the gondolas a lot, so that's kind of where you got to be on the lookout for them. I'm just kind of looking to see if 17's going to do anything funky. Sonics are heading down to their near Kranich drop. I do see FaZe a little bit near the Sonics there, so some contention over some vehicle spawns potentially brewing. T5 out of there, and they're going up to the northern drop spot to Dino Land. Respect. Love the Dino Land.
I know. I love Dino. I love the fact that Dino Land carried over from previous Vikendi.
Oh, it was a must.
I mean, yeah. It's a very complicated section. Like, it used to be a very complex area with the roller coaster and everything like that. Now it's its own entire beast. And I would love to see a bit more of a northern lean in our circles, but they don't like that idea. They're going to lean more to the south as FaZe and Sonics in a very weird looting situation around each other.
You know, I'm really curious about our previous game winners, LG, because we saw them on Vikendi yesterday, Matt, go for that play where they went.
Чат, я ничего не пропустил, 64 лайф, отлично. Ничего не пропустил.
Now 17 isn't going to have prio to that one this time around. There's too many teams down here on the south because of the southern shifted plane path.
Так, ну что, у нас в Викенде, Тайлу уже куда-то едут.
Тайлу едут лутаться.
Причем от зоны.
So we'll see if that's going to be the name of the game.
Well, I love the fact that LG is cooking on this map, right?
Yeah.
If you don't necessarily want to at the world stage, the end-all be-all for PUBG for the year, want to have to be experimenting with something. But if you can find something that works at this stage and make something really
Коми тоже от зоны едут
you're
лутаться.
going to be blessed with it, and that's why I liked what Mime was trying to do. I think it was Mime that was trying to sneak his way up there.
На ультра поздних таймингах будут выезжать.
It's one of those things that I at least love to see these players. They've been holding a couple of these strategies out and been trying to bring them in this last second.
It's brilliant. I mean, it really is. It was like probably 5 seconds away from working. And Mime's spray was a little bit off in the beginning too, so that kind of hurt the timing as well. But
17-й уже почти в центре, блин.
And so it's just a matter of getting that execution down. That's what's hard with these new maps is. Part of it is knowing the angles and all that stuff, just having enough playtime and enough experience to kind of understand every kind of possibility, what's safe, what's not, that kind of thing, but also how to experiment with the kind of unique features to the maps themselves.
Well, on top of that, remember it was against 17 gamers.
Ну, твайсы пока плохо играют, коми тоже.
Up on the gondola, while also cresting
Твайсы за 4 игры, за 3 игры набрали 5 поинтов.
Something to note for everybody else, there have been two, I guess, roaming bandit squads in 17 gaming and Donna that have been kind of just
Коимы 13 поинтов.
going on around them. They are kind of close to each other this time around, and that might be something that the rest of the lobby could enjoy seeing hit the kill feed.
No doubt. I mean, Danawa, Tianba, 17, basically safe at this point. T5 really close to being basically safe as well. So from there on out, Day Trade not too far off the safety mark. A couple good games from these mid teams. T5 and Day Trade have been really good days today, putting up lots of kills, getting good placements for T5. So I'm really, really impressed so far with our Thai teams. They've been playing exceptional PUBG.
It's just been a pleasure to watch too. Like a lot of aggression comes out from them, but I know that there are a lot of eyes that are being drawn to Donovan and how they're navigating so much of what's going to be going on. And I want to get to the heart and soul of that squad. So let's listen in.
Но пока, на мой взгляд, очень сильно отличаются 17-й и Донава.
미리 계획된 세레모니였어요. 정영이 형이 랜마전을 이기고 조금 세레모니를 하고 싶다라고 얘기를 했어가지고 근데 뭐 미리 계획된 세레모니였습니다. 사실 배그가 운의 요소가 조금 크다라고들 말씀하시는데 결국 잘하는 팀이 잘하거든요. 그래서 이번 연도 대회를 계속 꾸준히 보셨다면 당연히 나올 수 있는 그런 구도라고 생각을 해서 그냥 되게 좀
Ты что, лук ешь? Ага, лук.
늘 해왔던 대로 급파 직행해서 급파에서 좋은 모습 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
Preach, soul, preach about the fact
Вкусно же лук есть.
managed to make it in the top and oh my god, randomness, blah 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 blah. Yeah, okay, look at that leaderboard right now and you tell me that's randomness.
Dude, my bro, he knows what's up. No doubt about it. Oh, CC knows what's up. Oh, Wicked knows what's up. Oh, but Nan's gonna
Не, после этого New Happy точно домой надо ехать.
Да.
This has gotten way messy, way early. RBN realizing, wait, I need some reinforcements. Going to step back. He does have some of it. It's going to be Zera coming up really close to it. Azza does have Wicked down right now after a great breach into positioning, but has to be careful. It is going to be in H creeping in. Cod going to go down. It's going to be Ming Ming that's going to be back behind him, and everybody realizing there is a feast to be had if you can get into the right position for it.
What an angle there for Ming Ming across the road. Found an open lane down into Ozla's setup, so that's going to prompt Ozla to have to use a ton of smokes. Now, does not know that Hikari is up here outside of these oil or water containers, whatever they are. I don't think he does just yet. Doesn't matter though, Nan is still punishing it, and Hikari can't do anything about it yet. He has to sit there and wait.
Keep in mind we also have Twisted Minds coming in. Hikari's reading this one out.
Ой.
For the spray in. Almost went wrong for him. Nine with a good flick back over. Gets the
Каждую игру New Happy первые отваливаются. Ну, практически каждую первые лишаются тиммейтов.
Depending on how the angles open themselves up, but with those compounds just to the east of where Legacy is going to be playing from, not a lot that really can be seen yet.
Yeah, this is kind of surprising that this many teams ended up coming into the city. I wonder if there's something with the
Получается, что только Экзальты оправдали надежды.
Close enough to this edge that they want to play from it, just like you want to play from Southern Severny, like we saw with Sonics, Guizera, RBN.
Да не души.
Two more members of Ozla, Hikari, the only one left, and he's spotted out.
Ну, минус Азла.
Legacy finding some legs to themselves. They are down on.
Ну, они объективно приехали в какую-то парашу.
They still have some opportunities. It's going to be a big climb if they want to make it into the top 8. And I'll be honest, it's
Тут же Твайсы, тут же New Happy, тут же LGC.
but it is feasible. Do not count out with fact that we still have these 3 games left. If anything, whenever they're going to be looking into the, I guess the last chance.
Твайсы еще очень много контролят сейчас.
So anything that they can get rolling right now are going to feel real nice.
No doubt. And this should put a slight smile on the Sonics face, as that's the team that's right below them in 9th that gets eliminated first. So you got to feel a little bit better about that. It's been a rough day for the Sonics.
Ой, и Ноникс сейчас наступит.
Unfortunate things happening in a way with 17.
Unfortunate being called 17 gaming.
Yep. Yep. It's not really unfortunate. I mean, it is the part of the game, and that's 17's right and opportunity as the leader of this leaderboard.
Он чем-то почувствовал?
Some of the teams below them, some of the teams that they don't.
Или ему инфу дали тиммейты?
There's a lot of gentlemen's rules that go around with PUBG, you know, about drops and hot dropping and all this other stuff. But whenever we get to this stage, that goes out the window. Whoever wants to win, wants to win. And if you can do anything to competition to make it harder for them to deal with you, do it. Yeah. That is what the core of this game is about.
Exactly, and it's like revenge for PGS1. Sonics did something similar to them, so
true.
You know, fair play there. Cerberus now trailing Foot, and Foot has done a good job trapping teams on these edges. We saw it with QM, where they're able to pick off a player, but this time around, I think Foot's a little bit too widespread.
Коэмы только заезжают.
Significant damage to Cerberus. Now the real question is
так им ну они привыкли так играть, им пофиг.
Are they going to stalk them like prey?
От края это пофиг. На каком тайминге ехать?
We'll see. That turn from Wicked was pretty nasty, but the positioning here from NH was just too strong. Ming's position right here really broke Oslo apart.
They saw it kind of brewing, and remember that there was about 10 to 15 seconds where Legacy really defended up and didn't allow an encroachment coming out from Asla. So that's going to kind of stop them in their tracks and let NH get into that position to really backstab in on them. Looking in, that's about the only real fighting. We do have Tyloo that's going to be rolling.
Тоже Лука захотелось и купила я только яблоки. Ну, бедолага. Так ошибаться, конечно, вместо лука яблоки брать.
QM is also going to be coming into the circle, and that's really about all of our moving factors. Everybody is around Deca right now, and that's the name of the game. It's pretty centered, like you were talking about. There must be something with heat maps, knowledge, or maybe it's just they're really freaking tired of Southern Coast games. They're hoping it's going to go this direction.
Yeah, it's the gambler's fallacy. Great grenades there from Osla and Wicked, finding multi-kills with those. I think it's just, yeah, I think it's more just trying to play center. It's become kind of the name of this lobby, other than a few teams. T5, Foot aren't, you know, afraid. Tyloo sometimes aren't afraid.
То есть ты пока за сегодня вообще, да, особо ничего не заработали?
5 поинтов.
That goes back into edge play, right? Whenever we're looking at this, as the circle is going to go south yet again.
Yep.
Shocked. Who would have known? A big part of
Они закончили прошлый день с 31 поинтом.
Once you get to this stage, though, it's so much more dangerous, because then you could be like fighting up against Yamba, you could be fighting up against Sonics, Dono, 17 Gaming, all these guys that are just going to be trying to come.
В общем, не мой предикт, не твой предикт. Ни хрена не работает.
Ну ничего, шансы есть там.
Я затрахался уже. Это просто... Я еще говорил ребятам, да нет, да это будет интереснее, тут наши посильнее команды намного, чем Экзальты. Ты представляешь, если бы еще Экзальты в лобби были? Просто 15, 16, 14 нашей команды, я бы просто от стыда помирал, наверное. За наш мощный ПАБГ. А были бы Нави, да? Были бы еще 14 или 13.
Okay job, I should say. Not a great job, but an okay job here so far today. But this is a very favorable situation for them potentially.
I've got my eyes though on the gondola that goes above them. The Cerberus holding down the opposing point. If this does go down to the southwest.
Ну, как будто бы наш регион чересчур расслабился. У нас слишком мало движа компетитив PUBG. Если азиаты постоянно какие-то турики играют, там свои внутренние, то у нас вообще ни хера нету. А у азиатов постоянно какие-то турниры проходят.
У нас в Викурве все сидят, играют.
Что делают?
В Викурве.
Это что?
Браки за бабки.
Это как? Так, праки за бабки. Ты платишь или тебе платят?
Праки с призовым. Есть
А.
платные, где ты типа взнос платишь, а есть где просто типа призовые.
But we do have some team feeds as well that you can watch directly from there. So if you want to watch some of your favorite teams, we do 6 teams a day. So
Вы понимаете, даже праки уже люди играют. Даже чтобы праки играть, людей надо мотивировать. Никакой мутной истории с Нави они просто не прошли. Чё мутная история? С чего ты взял, что она мутная?
Prodding along these lines. We saw them taking some shots into 17 just a moment ago. Donaway is just going to be to the south of this new position. And even if you do that, you can kind of rotate over next to Deca, but that's going to be where we have Ty Lu positioned at. Let's not forget, we also still have NH Legacy and Twisted Minds still in Deca proper itself.
That's a nice little pick play there by Cerberus, kind of recognizing that LG might want to send a player out for some and try to leapfrog forward, and they thwart that.
Ну, коемы сейчас на Донаву могут заехать. Неприятно будет. И 17-й Донава со стороны коемов. Ой-ой-ой. Интересно, коемы дальше по левой сейчас крутить будут или в город заезжать?
Ну, они твистов слышат сейчас. По идее, Бестолочь должен был услышать.
People going to be hopping the vehicles, going to be moving pretty quick because it's going to be Danimal running right up into that Sonics defending line that they've got going on while Sonics are going to be trying to regroup. Shots going to be coming out. Shrimsy's going to get the line into it. Nonix going to be able to take him down, go for flush into it. Day Trade pretty close, going to spot this one out as well, trying to go for some shots on the regroup, but it is going to be Danimal that at least managed to get some control inside of this compound. It is going to be very dangerous.
Опять, кстати, Донава въезжает в Соников. Как будто бы у них есть план руинить Соников. Как думаешь, такое может быть?
Да нет, просто совпадение, что...
Ой. Нет! Нет!
Ming gonna get it. We can see Sonics trying to reset, and I gotta say, I loved again Donawa that double up whenever we saw them go with those blue zone nades. You pointed it out. It stalled the game out. Donawa now managing to rewrite themselves, get in position, play away from where all the third parties coming in, and you can see Sonics.
О, коемы просачиваются. Слушай, они еще нормально заезжают, только непонятно куда.
А чё они кемпик не заехали?
Где?
Ну, на дороге прямо домики какие-то.
Там сарай какой-то открытый, мне кажется. В ЛГ. Как же руинят Соником Донава вторую игру подряд.
Куда их? Вперед, Донава.
Стоп, не вторую, может. Там Мирамар был, а до этого на Таэга, не помню, как там было. Но Соники уже там где-то начинают отставать.
Difficult. Speaking of difficult, LG's got some trouble as they were a member down
earlier. Берутся параллельно.
Once again, LG does a good job clearing these bears out. Now they gotta hold the line.
Ой-ой-ой. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Тиммейта своего сжигаем. Подымай, подымай, подымай. Ой, сейчас твайсы еще туда подъедут. ГГ.
And those vehicles lined up there, paying up big for LG, sitting at 4 kills right now, getting space away from the just knocked out Sonics.
Все, кулаем в тильте официально.
Но это была худшая, конечно, за сегодня.
Может, твисты нормально сыграет.
Он и стоял, типа, и не подымал, но они не знали, наверное, что их трое. Было там, не знаю. И типа не пушил, мог в тачке пересесть, пройти, доиграть через флешку. Как вариант. Но, походу, Данте какой-то у них там, забитый сейчас. Его, мне кажется... Его тогда Адос осаживал, я видел. Где-то. Мне кажется, Данте там боится что-то лево-вправо делать. Ну, это мое мнение, как будто бы. После групп-стейджа он прям вообще там поникший был. Адоус на орбите. Не, без вариантов.
But though, here's this. They're not moving to the outskirts of the storm. They're wanting to be the ones that can kind of wrangle in whatever's going to be going on out here. Belmont's going to be pretty close. Tycon, though, you can see, wanting to make sure he finishes.
Блин, да посмотри, какой тут бутерброд лютый. Просто хороший такой бургер сочный.
Сейчас самое веселое будет, если эта зона закончится сейчас. Все просто в поле стоят.
Phase really want points. Everybody else in the storm is kind of okay-ish, but they were, happy to fight and try to make this more difficult. AT is going to find a kill, and now here comes Spades at the ready, looking at the edges, seeing that car, maybe even catching a glimpse. Beamy finds the knock onto Corexi, and Gustav with the MG3 starts laying down the hurt.
That's going to be a terrible position to try to walk into phase, realizing that they're going to have to contend with foot for just one moment. The circle's going to pop over into the west of it. This means the fact that their fight is going to break out inside the storms. It's going to be Cerberus as well as Daytrade fighting it out. Cerberus going to get the better part of it quite efficiently, though, but never count out Poochills. Looks like he's going for a flank.
Жестко.
He's going to go down. It's going to be Loki that provides the support into it. Cerberus should have some time to reset before they try to make their move, but don't forget about the other down there. Trying to contend with what's going on with foot and phase.
New Happy поехали к Твайсам. Твистам. Сколько еще матчей сегодня? Помимо этого еще 2. И по результатам этих матчей будет понятно 8 финалистов и 8, которые пойдут в Last Chance. Батулин Минга нокнул, но это корм для твистов. Вот это хорошее. Отлично! Но сейчас тоже лютая бутербродная у твистов будет.
Ну, 17-е дерутся там с Тейлу.
Ой, хорошая голова от перфекта. Батулин хавает поинты!
That is a big decline in the hillside and not going to hit the way that we saw. Ty Lue won it. Instead, 17 going to be able to get the reses out. Ty Lue sitting on 2 down right now. You can see Zhao Yang, he has the high ground, but man, it is going to be hard to try to hold this one together. Nade's not going to be the easiest to land.
Хорошая будет. Передержал, ну? Хорошая. Шена доедает Батулин. Он очень хочет нормальную игру, видимо.
But he's going to take a grenade right to the chin. Xiao Bei perfectly placed. Perfectix trying to steal some points.
And it's going to be really twisted minds on the outside of this one, gatekeeping everything. Ty Lue realizes they need to clean it quick. Solo now limping his way into twisted minds. Sight lines is
нормально, 17-е сели на коней. Т5-е слишком пассивно играют на у твистов? Они как будто внутри, в пещере, что ли? Нет, наверху бегают. Очень пассивно играют. Батулин Ноки. Хорошая флешка от перфекта. Идеальная. Что это? Ой. Да ё-моё, ну какая
будет забавно,
фигня.
если 17-е сейчас снова вдвоем выиграют игру.
Ой. 17-е не знают про 2 нокаута пятых, да?
Да, они не успели подойти бы никак. Ой.
Я не увидел. Тайкон сейчас спину отхватит, не?
He is the main character of this event so far. He has the play of the event, no doubt about it. See if he's got another one dialed up for us. This one far more difficult, especially with FaZe still looming on his south side. James kind of potentially sniffing this fight out.
But Tycon has a read on how to navigate this one. James with the harassment back, gonna go ahead and stop that one before it can even go, like you were talking about. Now FaZe in control over the south. James gonna dance around. Gustav gonna have some pathing, but he's still trying to eye up that.
17-е уже за 100 поинтов ушагали.
Still alive, really the only non-weekend squad. But the problem is you're gonna be walking into Rello as well as 17 Gaming. You can see the T5 wants to weaken them up before they even make that shift down the hill.
I gotta get back behind that hill. You're good. Okay. Rello is gonna find a knock, and Rello, calm down. Take your time.
That'll happen in a second.
Plenty of bullets left.
I think there's a bit of a ridge there. Yeah, makes it a bit more complicated, but it is going to be T5 sitting down into 17 Gaming. It's going to be a nice nade to open up some damage.
Ай-яй-яй, прикрывают.
Walk into it. Roston's going to shut it down. 17 Gaming, nowhere to go. T5 going to find it. Problem is they lose another member on the approach. It's going to be VHZ that spotted it.
And that's T5 up into second place. What phenomenal disciplined PUBG they've been playing. They control their space.
Блин, девочки с бакенбардами, конечно, симпатичные весьма были.
Ничего не понял, ну ладно. Видимо, я опять отвлекся на чат. Чатарелла закидывает, но не туда.
Up to the northeast of where T5 is going to be at. Rello's going to be condensing in from the south. It is going to be James that hears that, though, and he's going to be moving into a flank position right back behind Rello, and is going to spot that one out. Now it is going to be James taking over that position as T5 is going to be trying to crest the hill.
James тупо на 30 хп идет.
A lot of utility smokes are going to be down, stalling anything, but James still bloodthirsty. You know FaZe wants these points, too.
Yeah, certainly this is a huge opportunity for FaZe to get away with a win and potentially shoot up ahead of Sonics. If they can just get a few more points here, they could certainly get that done. Let's see if they can hold this out. LG needs all the points they can get.
Густав не добежал.
Shooting out in the open from Guizera. He's been dialed in with that Mark 12.
4 kills, 8 overall for Legacy. FaZe Clan going to get eliminated.
Ну, давайте Legacy. А, так это Изи. Изи для Legacy получается. Еще он сейчас уже мог выигрывать игру. Я не понял, он специально поинт доедал или он просто не туда стрелял?
В их случае не возьмусь утверждать. Подожди, их 3? А.
Чего ты? Ой.
Maneuvering there. We didn't get to see him too much on screen. They were just kind of dodging any action, doing a really smart job of avoiding any like kind of fights that would knock them out of that potential win.
T5, a big factor in so much of what we saw going on over there.
Все, они уже смотрят Эрангель карты.
We haven't seen Donovan 17 asserting authority on everything around them. The Bikindi circle itself not providing too much opportunities. As you can see, Legacy, happiest, bounciest guys ever. Seeing them take a slow, measured approach into that last game is a beautiful thing to watch.
Так, сейчас у нас чатик будет 2 эрангеля. Стоп. Мы же начинали с Мирамаров? Да, сейчас будет 2 эрангеля. Перерыв примерно 5-7 минут. И продолжим. Не разбегайтесь.
The comeback can start anytime, and for Legacy, perhaps it was Vikendi as they take the chicken dinner with a very respectable kill count. 4 games down, 2 left to play. That was the time for them to make it happen.
If you want to build a legacy, you have to start winning a game, and then you go back to back on a wrangle to make it into the top 8. Let's see what they do. Quite impressed with some of their shots, especially the fight here with as the pentagram, and overall, little bit of a chaotic match, right? We've had some interesting things happening. We had some high grounds. You have this road that goes into kind of a valley, right? It's a canyon almost in the middle, which make it really hard when you have to come off the sides and the high grounds. Interesting fight with Danova and Sonics, of course, as well. A lot of clutch moments, a lot of plays that happened, and I like what I see from that. Overall, though, this circle and the way we had, especially the third circle, where Faceland, they were like, we have the center compound. They pushed out, they tried to clean up and third party a fight. They lost 2, only got a few points from it. If there were 4 guys alive towards the end there, Faceland could actually have taken the fight to Legacy and potentially won this whole game.
Okay. I mean, on the same token, I would say if LG had managed to get 4 alive to their position, they might have been able to do something with it. Rello hustled hard, but they didn't get out of that one alive. 8 teams left as we get to this sort of late game position. They're on 5, absolutely playing incredibly well today, looking so good. But after that fight, everyone was limping except Legacy, who was walking with a winner's shuffle as they managed to walk their way into that chicken dinner. But as you said, a Legacy, like a value meal, is built 1 chicken at a time. Legacy gets that first one in their pocket, and maybe they can keep pushing forward. My name's Toppies. I'm joined by Avenger here on the desk. 2 games left to play, and they are on the fairest map of them all, the original. The grassy pastures of Erangel.
But this is also historically the time we see the most rough games, right? You have the teams that's already qualified, and you have the teams that are not going to be making it unless they do something wild. So they try to do something out of their ordinary, right? They third party, they send it on the edge, they drive by, they crash compound. So usually it tends to be a little bit wild in our last 2 games. Here though, top 4, Legacy, 10 kills, 20 points for them.
But look at Therathon 5, 21,000 meters. I don't really know what that yardage or miles is, but it's a long way to go compared to everyone else. They had to fight, they had to hustle, they had to move, and they walk away with that 2nd place. But the winners, the WWCD team stats, go to Legacy.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Gisera with the 4 kills, 4 knocks, and almost 500 damage done. It's 23,000 yards for you, by the way.
Thank you. That was a great conversion.
Nice. And also, in this case here, of course, Legacy, so far, rough before this, 21 points up until with 9 games. That is not the average we want to be on. We're looking at these kind of 6 to 7 if you want to make it safely to the top, right? But, of course, if you want to make a dream run and build your legacy in the last 3 games, you can do that too here. 20 for them.
20 them.
4 teams on double digits here. Base Clan, of course. Also in a rough case, they have 39 going into this game here. They're going to be ending on 49. Still a little bit too far away from the cutoff.
Twisted Mind still on the slow average. They need a 6.5. They've been running that sort of 4 points per game. And then on top of that, LG able to salvage some points to climb into 5th. Here's the overall leaderboards. We go into the next one. 102, 17, you're fine. You're happy. T5, Donoa probably feeling pretty safe right now. Tiamba, I think a little bit comfortable. And then the cutoff game starts. Foot, FaZe, Ozla, Tyloo. I mean, look how close everyone from 9 to 14 is. Sonics, I think, is our main focus in this game. They need to come out and put up points.
Yeah, Sonics needs to defend their 8th place, of course. The question is, are a double tie on Foot and FaZe, are they going to make big points? The 13 points difference from Cerberus and Sonics is obviously making a huge difference there. But as you said here, Tyloo, Asla, FaZe, Foot, and Sonics, it's going to be our 5 teams that really is going to be having the focus here, because our top 7, top 6 teams, they are going to be like, guys, we just need a few points. They're going to be focused on cleaning up a few fights. They're going to be getting, you know, their 2, 3, 4 games per game, and that's going to potentially make them safe. it is that 13-point gap, and the 4 teams chasing in our 40s is going to be super, super exciting to watch.
13-point gap is fascinating, especially when you consider the fact that 17 Gaming chose to hot drop Sonics on Miramar to possibly send a message. We asked Shrimzy right after that game, do you think it's going to keep happening? He said, I don't doubt it at all. It didn't on the Chaos maps, but this is the time that it would happen again. So that, I think, is the real question. Will 17, looking at the moment, smell blood in the water and choose to go after the Sonics?
And this is the weakest the Sonics has been in the winners bracket so far.
True.
They are 13 points off.
Broken
and they're the
vests,
last,
no helmets.
They are, exactly. No utility as well. And they're 13 points off there. You have 4 teams close to because the 4 teams they know as well. All right, Sonics, this is the team we need to kind of chase down. This is the team we need to stop to potentially take one of those spots in the top 8. Of course, if we have a few more teams choking, 0-point games back to back, that could also make a difference. But right now, that is what our chasing teams are going to be focusing on.
All right, we've covered the chase. You're aware of the race and how the surge to get to the top is about to go off. 2 maps left to play. When we come back from this race, we're going to head to the grassy pastures of Erangel. Stick around because it's going to get wild.
Unleash my shopping spree
Duty-free from big brands.
at all King Power stores and King Power online.
It's possible. Enjoy great selections, promotions, and privileges.
The power of possibilities. King Power.
Hanuman's forces have set up their barrier. They are waiting for sunrise before they release their guard.
With my magic, the night will turn. Enemies beware. Mayara is coming for you.
ยืนหนึ่งมันไม่ง่าย แต่ไม่ยากที่จะทำแค่ตั้งใจและสนุกกับมัน
เท่าแก่น้อย ตอบโจทย์ทุกไลฟ์สไตล์ แบรนด์สาหร่ายยอดขายอันดับ 1
ถ้าสาหร่ายต้องเท่าแก่น้อย
Here's the weather update for the Rondo area.
From the Rondo region, if you've been yearning for the sun after yesterday, please check your flight schedules to ensure your travel plans.
Why did you come to Rondo? Stand your ground.
It's only a perfect victory when the whole team lives. I know where he's going.
So I think our team has been structured a little bit better. We're just looking for the long term. We want to be as good as we can, a year from now. We're not really thinking just about this tournament.
2 games left in our winners bracket as we make our way over to Erangel. And I just got to take a second and give a shout out to these Thai fans because I want you guys to know every single time the winner of the last game gets up or goes to the restroom or does anything else like that, in case of Legacy in the last time, everybody gets up on their feet and cheers for them, and it's just so great to see the universal love there. Yeah, okay, they have their regional bias in some fashion, but whenever it comes down to a good performance, these guys are loving every single team that's playing here.
Yeah, look at that.
I love Legacy too, man. I love everybody on that squad.
That's so good. It's hard not to like them. I mean, they're just great guys. They're always having fun, and the fans here are just absolutely insane. It's such a pleasure to come here to Thailand again for PUBG esports. They're just so passionate about it. I mean, every day has basically been sold out, and they're just yeah, like you said, supporting everybody, having a good time. We saw yesterday, a kid who was a big fan of Tiggleton come up and give him a hug, and that was really cute. So,
but half the size of Tig whenever he came up,
yeah,
it was adorable.
He was a cute kid. Yeah, it was really funny. So everybody here hoping to get into that top 8 though, Matt. Right now, foot barely on the outside. They're in 9th, just behind Sonic. Cerberus just ahead of them. Day Trade and then Luminosity. So still a lot of things could change here on Erangel. There is still a very close battle around that 8th place position.
I just want to know what the bullies are going to do as we are now making our way. Set, ready to go. Erangel, 2 games left. Top 8 are going to go on to the grand finals. Bottom 8 go to the last.
Так, ну что, у нас с вами 2 Эрангеля. 2 последних карты, после которых мы узнаем, кто же эти 8 команд, которые 100% окажутся в финале. Ну, уже очевидно, что там будут 17-е, очевидно, что там будут Донава, очевидно, что там будет Ямба, очевидно, что там будут дейтрейды вроде бы. Сейчас таблицу посмотрим. Зона либо на горе, либо Сосновка. Нет, Сосновки здесь точно не будет. Добьем 200 лайков под стримчиком, просит Динель. Было бы неплохо, кстати. Возможно, это опять будет Ронин и Северный, вот это вот, возможно. Не хотелось бы опять смотреть гору. Может быть, какая-то ультраправая зона.
Ультраправая?
Супер-мега крайняя справа. Ее бы посмотрели, может. Хотя они уже были, по-моему. Ну, блин, если эта гора будет, опять печально.
Ясная какая-нибудь.
Ну, может быть, ясная. Я вообще больше склоняюсь к тому, что это может быть... Ну, оно уже появилось, поэтому не буду говорить. Сразу ауку адера сходу. Сюда. Нет, это называется ультраправая зона. Ультраверхняя, ультранижняя, ультралевая. Но это, скорее всего, что-то типа змейки будет, над змейкой может быть. Вот это вот. Ультрагора. Ну, у нас без контестов, опять же. Ой, мы пока еще едут в свой Приморск. Все еще. Соники уже готовы, наверное, в зону ехать, а Коэмы еще только едут в спот для лутания, блин. Ну, так как это последние игры, это самая старая карта, на которой больше всего у людей наиграно и часов, и страт, и понимание карты самое большое. Я думаю, что мы долго не увидим еще фрагов.
Ну смотри, QM уже вряд ли ворвутся в восьмерку, твисты еще могут.
Так. Ну, коэмы тоже могут, 5%.
Но они даже если сейчас игру выигрывают, они не влетают в восьмерку.
Ну, они могут 2 подряд.
Да. А New Happy тогда 3 подряд могут.
New Happy никак уже точно.
2 катки по 25 поинтов и полетели, не?
Ну, в целом, может быть. Ну, теоретически такое возможно, как ты считаешь?
Теоретически, да.
Ну, значит, шанс есть.
Понял. Теоретически, Артикс не нашел тайку с сюрпризом.
Интересно, почему Соники так сдали во второй день? Ну, их 2 раза крашнула Донава и убила. Как минимум.
А я говорил, что крашнуть Соников и убить несложно.
Миленикс, зачем ты мне это рассказываешь? Круто. Мне только эта информация зачем?
Is just a nail biter going into the last game from them. Going to be on the edge of the seats, and that's going to make it a lot more complicated. So we're going to have to see teams, can you survive out? That does mean also the pace of this game, specifically in the earlier section, is going to slow down dramatically.
Yep, and I want to give Luminosity a lot of credit. They've been fighting through some tough situations at times and able to salvage a lot of really valuable points out of it. Yeah, their late game, maybe not everything they've wanted, but their mid game has been really strong in terms of recovering when things don't always go the way they expect or they want.
I'm getting a bit nervous for Cerberus. They're running a very wide 2-2 split right now. And that is highlights that are happening on top left, not necessarily fighting. Yeah, that's going to be Tycon, gets spotted out, moves down into NH's territory.
Нормально они там твайсов развалили, конечно. И опять твайсов разваливают. Чё, это намек на что-то или чё, я не понимаю. Что нам за хайлайты показали такие?
Да, они вкидывают как-то непонятно хайлайты разные рандомные.
Иногда хайлайты вкидывают, когда драка идет, разгар драки. Вот это вообще кайф.
Кстати, ты говорил, что 70 плюс будет. Нифига не 70 плюс будет. Мне кажется, восьмерка.
Ну, наверное, не будет, да.
А чё не стал достреливать по второму?
Хз. Так, Шримзи вовремя заднюю дал.
Donna was going to have collapsed in just to the south of that, pretty close to where we kind of saw that shelter positioning coming up from FaZe. Gustav does have a position that is a 2-2 split coming up from FaZe right now, where they are right just to the, I guess, right along the cross.
Валентин, так а если мы не знаем, что тебе отвечать? Какие-то моники от MSI. 360 Гц, ищи. Мы откуда знаем? Мне вот не особо интересно это было. Тем более ты писал свой вопрос, когда меня за компом даже не было. Что ты? Сейчас спасибо пишет. Ё-моё. Алексеев, я пока ни на кого не ставил. Ну, ставил на 3 наши команды. Экзальты, которые уже вылетели. Твайсы и Коэмы, которые 14-15 строчку занимают. Да что это? Почему я смотрю, когда наши просто отвратительно играют? Я не понимаю.
and it's going to be pretty hard to take down the other ones as T5 is going to go ahead and have to wrap a different direction.
Yeah, and that vehicle just on the edge of that hill as well gives an opportunity.
Так, LG это у нас американцы, да?
LG here with their kind of alt drop.
Что?
LG американцы же?
Ну, типа
Ну,
того.
что-то NA, да?
Ну, там... Блин, там кто-то вроде один из NA, или... Не помню.
Ну, смотри, разбавили немножечко азиатскую пятерку. Семерку азиатскую, блин.
Вообще регион NA, но по игрокам я не помню, короче, кто там откуда.
Да ладно. Я уж думал, еще не выбьют.
Ньюхэппи уже 2 поинта заработали, прикинь.
Ничего
За одну
себе,
игру.
ничего себе. Ну, осталось всего 23.
That should be good enough. And I think this is smart to get these points early. The circle isn't super favorable to you anyway. Teams like Twisted Minds, 17, potentially even Ozla, FaZe.
Ой, мы в Адоу засели.
Priority ahead of you getting into the center of the circle. So take the points where they come. And frankly, if they get 4 or 5 points in this game, they're probably good to go into the grand finals.
See, I get nervous with this lobby because it feels like any of these teams can pop off. We've been seeing so strong. Nonix, though, going to spot out Legacy in rotation. Multiple vehicles going to pop up in front of him now, cresting down the hillside. Going to see if he can finish out the spray. New circle's going to pop. Goes right.
Лайки бустанули нехило. Ух ты, нихера себе. Вы когда успели столько лайков? Чё это? Это вы лайки поставили или опять какая-то накрутка? Я ничего не понял. Обычно вас просишь, хер допросишься. Что-то какая-то нездоровая тема.
Блин, это кресло, которое постоянно то появляется, то пропадает.
Да все уже, не смешно.
Каждый раз смешно.
Почему Твайсы здесь вдвоем, я не понимаю. У них сплит, да. Да как потом они отсюда уедут? Ну, дейтрейды что-то посыпались.
You know, 10 more points would be really nice to really feel comfortable. But every point so valuable. And now Cerberus knows it. They know they've got day trade dead to rights.
Yeah, just chasing them down.
Почему нет скинов вообще? Потому что это отдельный клиент. Это отдельный клиент голый. Они создают там свои аккаунты со своими никами и играют. Специально для турнирных игр. Да, Мираста, он об этом. Ой-ой-ой. Ой-ой-ой, что творит этот мужчина? Нет, кодов сейчас не будет. Я так понимаю, код был уже после того, как дейтрейдов закрыли, и больше кодов не будет. Мираста, да он уже так раз 50-й шутит, блин. Уже нехорош, уже баян.
Also, it should be noted, 17 Gaming is playing the top of Potato, so they've got control over a lot of the servers.
Не, кто-то накручивает лайки. 300 лайков уже, блин. 50 штук за секунду набралось там. Ну ладно, за 2 минуты. Что-то это... Редиска какая-то, короче, опять.
This is something that Trevor really credits Mime with, is his ability to kind of load up these vehicles with a lot of the different new utility, like the Panthers, like the Mortars. He's really proactive about that and get them into positions where they can utilize those really powerful...
Я бестолочь переживает. 125, 126 пульса. Так. Соники куда-то собрались под прок лететь. Наверное, никуда.
Я думаю, в общагу полетят, не?
По-моему, они едут. Интересно, твайсы стакнутся? А, они отдают желтики и едут к своим в общаге? Интересно. С общак, видимо, удобнее играть им?
Вообще, как будто ошибка, не?
Как будто да. Вот Донава заезжает в эти желтики в итоге.
А, может, общаги не могут уехать?
Может, вот это и как
поэтому им
вариант.
стакнуться надо, типа, похуй там.
LG is also on a similar line as they do have those mortars that are going to be prepped. Donovan getting into that compound you were talking about does also put him pretty close to 17.
Просто бесплатный желтик для канала.
Да, просто вот. Т5 на второй строчке. Я вообще вот, как команду Т5 что-то не воспринимаю. Они вообще какие-то, ну, невзрачные, но постоянно поинты набирают, где-то умудряются. Блин.
This is what we saw brewing just a moment ago. As remember, they lost a member early. Tiamba does roam back down into this one. Wicked is playing an outside angle onto it, so might find an opportunity to get a knock. Nade's going to come out. Smoke wall's also going to come out for safety, but that is a lot of utility burn just to try to get away.
Well, and if Oslo wants to
get away,
pressure that warehouse, they need to be a little bit more coordinated with their utility there, and instead they're just going to have to back off. You know, if you can get a few more grenades.
Ой, футболисты заезжают дерьмово. Хотя, если сильно вверх поедут.
Да, я думаю, они тут останутся.
Нашим по победе каждому для проходки надо оформить? Нет, конечно, ты чё? Победа только их приблизит к топ-8. Ну, твайсы, если выиграют, они точно будут там в топ-8 железобетон. А вот КМ там мало шансов очень. Соники еще пока неплохо сидят. Легаси, походу, что-то помирать хотят, что ли? Куда они едут? Не понимаю. Что за хае такая мощная? Ну, Азла в лобби отправляется. Очевидно. Люминосити терпят люто. Да, твисты желтик прям подарили. Смотря турнир сейчас, не жалеешь о том, что ушел из киберспорта? Нет. PUBG, к сожалению, бесперспективная дисциплина, на мой взгляд. Поэтому...
Hopefully, the fact that we can see last chance qualifiers give them some of the life that they so desperately need. You managed to pick up that one kill we saw earlier, but that was just more of a rotation pickup than it was a firefight win.
Мираста, я об этом уже говорил 2 игры назад. Ну или 1 игру назад, так что ты это... опоздал.
And he's going to get flushed for it. That's just a little bit overextended there for Loki, trying to get an angle onto Legacy. But for Donowa, meh.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. They're fine.
Странно, как Спайра там законфирмил его?
One of the benefits of Legacy's position and as close as they are to Donowa is going to be that Twisted Minds has an angle onto this one and is kind of...
Дроп прям в упоре под ногами лежит, и то не рискуют ребята подойти.
We also do have Cerberus that's moving over to the top of Potato. Looks like they might be trying to eye where 17 Gaming's going to be at. FaZe to get some separation away. They're just trying to move in again. Foot's going to be coming in as well.
Соники заезжают к твистам. Два нока у Соников, да?
Yeah, this is a pretty important fight for them. And they really needed to get this effective. Yeah, that bounced so good. And you can even choose.
Ой!
Trimsy gets taken down. That might explode on top of him. Actually got in, did a little bit of damage. Two twisted minds. Are eliminated.
Лицом такой, бум.
Убили четверых, а законфирмили одного.
Да. Ты пятый из Перли?
FaZe, Foot, and he's still need to try to make something happen. Hey, LG, remember those mortars we were talking about a second ago? It's like Tianba is their new friend.
Perfectly set up, perfectly thought out. Now you can harass Tianba as they try to come up that hillside.
Там минометик куда-то полетел.
Make their life an absolute nightmare.
This is really cool. They actually have it beaded into that small compound just to the west of them, and they were just waiting for somebody to come into that.
So smart, although the point's going to get stolen by Rossita Jr. from T5. Hisaki jumping, able to cut the sight lines of Lil Ghost enough. 17 going to try to control the top of Potato with Cerberus behind them, but most of Cerberus is still kind of on the flank of FaZe, but they're starting to leave.
This is a big fight though. We have Foot and FaZe.
Так, там Куэмы же у нас еще живые. Ё-моё. Тианбу начинают напрягать. Но дальше Куэмам прям очень тяжко будет. Хотя сейчас 17-е с Церберусами закусятся, если разноки будут, надо присоединяться шустро. Деньги плати, Мирас, чтоб тебе шутки оставляли. Чё ты, блин? На халяву что-то хочешь. Или шути интереснее, а не банально. Ну.
Potential flush coming through, I think, there with that grenade, maybe just missed.
Блин, а Церберусы не пошли драться с 17-ми.
Боятся.
Они пошли драться в фейзов, там два нока. Твисты пошли пушить Т5, в итоге ног получили, но разрезаются. Дальше играть на будку поди-ка будут. Ой, вот эта пушка, конечно, слишком жесткая. Отлично, Донава плюс 4, плюс еще один. Нет, не смогли. Так там чел же! Твисты пошли играть под LG, стоянба. Коэмы не вывозят 17-х вообще никак. Пестолоч один уезжает.
Top left-hand corner of the mini-map. Suju looking down into it, getting a really good view of kind of how those teams up there are situated. Tianba still trying to push in, so they took some damage, but now they're taking it right back to LG.
Надо, чтобы твисты сейчас нормально тут нафармили.
Ну, вот и плюс 1, минус Спайра. Подымутся. 5 поинтов. Ну, слушай, Соники 1 поинт сделали за игру. Соники вообще забей. Так что очень большие шансы у ребят из твистов залететь в виннер-сетку. Да, Флюда! А, он и так их. Отлично. Плюс 7 поинтов, да? Плюс 8 поинтов. И плюс уже за плейсмент им дало.
Да надо утилы, тачки дособирать живые.
Там еще бестолочи идут 17-е душить хаешками. Умер. О! О! Бестолочь достался твистам.
И релив поинтов пошел.
О! 17-й поехал. Ну пусти, пустите. Сразу же подъехали под 17-х. 17-е там подтягиваются. Ну вот против 17-х драться, конечно. Сейчас посмотрим, как ребята с этим справятся. Батулин остался там, внизу. Коми точно лузер сетка. Если только последнюю нереально отыграют. Неужто они подымутся? Еще и хае сочная.
Вот она стрельба была.
Поднялись 17-е. Ну, а никто не вывозит 17-х просто. Просто слишком сильные. А вот этих ребят можно и по это, да? Минус перфект, минус Батулин. Лу на ногах. Ну, Тайлу, помогите! Помогли. Ну, твисты у нас в топ-8? Да, твисты топ-8. 11 киллов.
Блин, а могли сразу под этих клоунов ехать играть?
Да.
Ну, хотя там 17.
Нет, там, да, назили бы. Сейчас 17-е приедут и просто балумбой по лбу всем. Бум-бум-бум. Хотя по статистике у азиатского региона не такая большая балумба. То из наших квешн-марки и твисты. They don't have any real options. They're going to have to go against these two squads, and whichever way they tend to go, they're not going to have the circle to work with either.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Donawa, again, has an opportunity here to play Kingmaker. If they want to...
Нет, Тайлу сейчас сдохнут. Их попилят Донава и 17-е, мне кажется.
А G2 были в PUBG?
Да, по-моему, были. Это же европейцы? По-моему, были.
The reach of those tremendous Donawa snipers.
Right, Tailu, what can you do? You have an opportunity, but man, it is so freaking narrow.
По статистике у них самое большое производство балумб. Думаю, что это факт.
По статистике там каждый третий пиздобол.
Это он про PUBG, если что. Ну, вообще, 17-е это корейцы, они к этому отношения не имеют. Блин, неужто Тайлу выигрывают?
Four. Just wiping out one of these squads will get them the positions they want. There's 1 point now starting to stack up. Cresting into the hill. It's going to be Xiaowu that's going to be in front of him, as well as Xiaobei that might have some angles. But keep in mind, Anonix as well as Salute have now repositioned, defended up.
Это он мелкий все плачет и плачет, блин.
All eyes downhill right now for Donawa. 17 keeping their eyes on Donawa though. So it's sort of a recycle symbol, right? Everything's just going in a triangle, around in a circle so far. So we'll see if that's going to be the case, or if somebody's going to get a little bit aggressive before Phase 8. Seems like everybody's content to at least sit down, see what Phase 8 does, and then try to make your plays off of that. 3 grenades for Xiaobei, though. 3 frags still in the bag is a really potentially difficult situation for Tailu to deal with if they get kind of pinned against the other side of the blue.
what Tai Lu, if you're a Tai Lu fan right now, you need to be keeping an eye on what's going on with Zhao Wu. If he goes
Ух, что зона стояния, блин.
the problem is he's playing this hidden position off on the side. Zhao Bei is just going to be to the south of Tai Lu. So you see that rock. That's where so much of this is going to come in. Zhao Wu spots out Shin and takes
Ошибочка.
big problem for Tai Lu. Now with this open
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой.
the flanks are going to be coming out and all opportunities.
Это если что не он попал.
А, да?
Soul gets Xiao Bei down, and those are those 3 frag grenades. Xiao Wu still has some himself. LZ looking for that one-tap headshot with the Dragonov. Hoping to find it, but Salute catches him jumping, does a little bit of damage.
А, подожди. 17-е... Точно, 17-е Китай. Точно, точно, точно. Как и New Happy, да ведь? Донава корейцы. Что-то я...
LZ wants to make something happen here. It's just going to be a Nox, the new gatekeeper out. But Zhao Wu still trying to play the opposing side.
Как же он мансит. А что это за фантастическая хая?
Those grenades are out, and if they bounce right, oh, it's so close to taking him down. The molly comes up short, and it's going to be Salute falling to Suju. Just an Onyx left for Danawa. 17 going to leave Xiao Wu on his own to control that side.
Подожди, 17-е точно китайцы? Ой, запутал ты меня. Я что-то уже запутался.
Suju's going to take out a Nox. That's another point off the table, but that means that positioning going to be popping off for Tai Lu, going to be putting them closer. Zhao was trying to reposition away, but Tai Lu's not going to allow it too easily. Suju just on top of this rock is putting in so much work.
17-е еще и втроем были, что ли?
We might be seeing the legs for Tai Lu finding something here. Backs up against the blue zone. They still need to move forward, and Suju just has such a beautiful angle into him, though.
I'm not sure if Xiao Bei has any more bullets in the P90. Doesn't matter. He's still got a mark.
Ой, смог нормально нашил, чел.
Still a lot of frags left for him. He's even got some smokes picked up as well. Point confirmed for Tai Lu. Again, every point for Tai Lu, even if they don't win, super valuable.
Just one point line twisted, and that nade is
Не, 17-е просто машина. Как же они херачат.
That's just great stuff there. And again, you know, Tai Lu gets pushed to the edge of the blue, and the grenades are ready for 17. And it's just, I mean, this team is just so good on Erangel. Just time and time again, they are always in the late game. They're always.
Да, 17-е китайцы.
Okay, Tai Lu didn't get the win, but they got a lot of points.
Yes.
Man, they are at touching range right now. This is almost more of a game of who dies first at this stage. Everything's going to be about survival. We're going back to the core of PUBG and trying to survive for as long as humanly possible.
Жестко.
It is just going to be neck and neck. Who's going to be going on to the grand finals? Who's going to be going on to last chance? One more round to figure it out.
Так, мужики, у нас перерыв примерно 3 минутки. И следующий рангель будет. Нас с вами почти... Ну, с вами больше 300 человек. Давайте Лукасов еще нажмем. Ну, нам придется Last Chance смотреть, потому что сейчас коэмы точно не проходят. А твисты на тоненького вот эта игра. Валидольная для твистов сейчас будет.
It set the stage for this entire event so far as they get a chicken dinner in the second to last game and show us continuously why they are some of the favorites, if not the favorites, to win PGC 2023.
Yeah, they're looking extremely strong. Even for a rough circle like this here, you have a situation where they're just taking so much control. They're like they're against 2-3 teams and they still take so much control. Have a fantastic run, and Suju has had for this winner bracket here one of his best tournaments so far. It's been looking extremely good for them.
It's the whole team, man. It's just if one's playing slow, the others pop off, and they are peaking at the right time. They started a little slow. They've been getting better and better and better, and it is incredible to watch these guys play. You just saw that. Ghost, Xiao Wu, Suju, it doesn't matter. They are playing as a unit, and it is unstoppable as team after team falls to them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Good to see here, of course. Some of the kind of northern side fights were benefiting them a little bit because they had that southwest side, which also they're third partying, they're pushing, they're hurting, right? which is extremely important. This is why they have so much space.
Else.
Yeah, exactly. They're hurting them and hurting them, and this is why it's so important for them, because they're pressuring everyone else to make sure they get the space. They take the space and they make the space, and this is why they are able to do the double nade here towards the end. Beautiful stack from them that just close out everything.
Look at them. That is like business as usual.
Easy.
Every other team has gotten a win. They jump out of their chairs, they celebrate, and rightly so. 17 just takes off the headsets, goes, all right, let's get the next one too, boys. It is wild. Welcome back to the desk. My name's Toppies. I'm joined by Avenger here as we break down the action. And the action is about to get crazy because there's one game left to play in the grassy pastures. And the issue is it is close. 17 winning that game actually makes it an insanely close fight for one spot. We'll show you in just a second. For now, let's give a little bit of flowers to the top 4 teams. 17, 13 kills. And then Twisted Minds, good morning. The alarm clock must have gone off because these guys woke up.
Yeah, they were able to get a little kills. Perfected kind of turned on a little bit. But again, 17 Gaming sponging off so many points here. 23 is going to go there. 6 kills for Xiao Bei. Super impressive, of course. Suju 4 as well. What a fantastic performance for them for this game here. And again, when you're playing without pressure, that is what you're able to do.
Look at the damage. No one under 400. They are just hustling, putting in work as a team, and playing out of their minds. Man of the match goes to Xiao Bei. 6 kills, 663 damage, 5 knockouts, and an awful lot of pride, as he deserves to stand there nice and strong after 17 putting on a master's class in how to play this lobby. You love to see it. Let's look at the match leaderboard. 17 goes the way, 23 points. Twisted does get 15. That's going to be good news for them as the chase is on. And I think when we get to this overall leaderboard, that's what we're going to see.
It's going to be insane. That's all we're going to be focusing on. I just want to say real quick, 17 has now done the best 12th game lobby so far. They're going to be beating Faces 108 and Pentacle Roads 111. They're going to be 125 after just 11 games.
Let's talk about the race. 68 for Day Trade. I think that they're okay as long as they get a small number. Twisted Minds at 55 is not comfortable because Tyloo 54, Sonics 54, FaZe 52, Foot 51. That is 5 teams battling for one spot. And on the off chance, Legacy and Osla could have the chicken of their life.
With a win, chicken dinner, and double kills, like they're 10 points behind Legacy and Asla Pentagram. But let's focus on those 5 teams. It's going to be extremely close. Day Trade, they know this. They know, like, we just need to put a little bit of points, and we could potentially do it. But they go out with 0, and we have, like, the correct teams are getting, double-digit kills and a high placement. That could also mean that they could be pushed out. I would say top 6 right now, they're safe. They're going to know just a few kills is going to make them happy and fine. Congrats to those guys. Also makes it hard for everyone else, right? Because they're going to be like, all right, we made it. Let's try to frag out and just get a few more kills, which usually means a lot of fights on the edge, a lot of pressure on the edge, and the center is going to be quite open in terms of compounds, especially in the early game.
I expect this to be a lot like we saw at the end of the losers bracket. A lot of teams who are in that mid-pack kind of waiting it out. A couple trying to desperately get points. Legacy is going to have to open up. Asla as well, and look for kills right away to get that big win. The rest of the teams are going to play tight and safe. Twisted Minds is a team that is very good at playing very safe PUBG and trying to get deep without the need to take fights. Sonics, they know the map very well. FaZe, it's Sunday, so you can't write them off at all. This is incredibly stacked, and the chase is going to be wild. And honestly, like, no matter what happens at the start, there's still 6 teams that are in the battle.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, right, we have this. The sponges are just scary because they are going to be taking these small fights. They're going to be third-partying. With just 1 game to go, they're going to be super scary to go against.
17 go hunting.
Yeah.
They could see a knock on any of these teams and be like, well, let's take the risk. Let's go over
Yeah,
there.
let's commit 4 guys
to. Well, it's time for us to commit to the last match of the day. 8-8. Who shows out to be great? It's a wrangle, baby. Let's get to it.
Destiny in your hands if you can grab it right now. We've got squads right on the cusp. Day Trade comfortable, but I wouldn't say set just quite yet. Twisted Mind still in that top 8. Remember, everybody on our top 8 goes to the grand finals. Everybody that's not in the top 8, that means 9 down to 16, you're going to be going to last chance qualifiers. Going to be kicking off into tomorrow. Plane path not going to be the friendliest, but really eyes on Tyloo, Sonics, FaZe, Foot. I mean, maybe even Legacy. I think that we're pretty okay on them. They pretty much cemented their position right now.
It'd have to be a nuclear game for Legacy.
Everybody else to explode.
Yeah, exactly. So, anything's possible. I mean, yeah, Day Trade, fairly comfortable, but there are worlds where somehow weird stuff happens and they don't get out of this.
Die first. That's day trade's rule of life right now. I don't care what I need to do. I just need to not die. And they went down to military base, and there's an opportunity that could
2 or 3 points, man, and they're probably fine. So that's really the name of the game here for day trade. Just find a few kills and play it safe. They're very fully capable of doing that. Foot's going to go all the way over to Zarky on this one. Gambling for maybe kind of a crazy, you know, hopefully northern shifted circle, but nope. Millie.
Grand finals decided by military base.
I like it. Why not?
Okay, well, day trade feeling a lot better now, though.
Yeah.
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой, я увидел зону. Ой-ой-ой. Так, ну что, мужики? У нас с вами последняя игра, где мы с вами узнаем 8 финалистов. Это уже 100% 17-е, это 100% Донава, это 100% Т5, это 100% LG, это 100% Тианба, это 100% Церберусы. Скорее всего, процентов 80 это дейтрейд уже точно. И мы сейчас по факту будем смотреть за последним, за файтом вот команд с 8-й строчки по... Ну, по 14-ю даже можно сказать. Ну, по 12-ю, но в целом и по 14-ю. То есть вот эти команды сейчас в этой игре будет решаться, смогут они занять 8-й плейсмент или нет. Пока у нас твайсы на 8-й строчке, но там отрыв микро, и у каждой команды там одна ошибка, это цена проходки в финал. А в Last Chance уже есть варики и поехать домой.
11 kills total, so that's a really good start to them, showing some confidence, flexing their muscles. Tyloo playing pretty smart. If Shen just doesn't get picked off by Xiaowu, who knows if that game goes a different way. And you know, you were talking about superstars. That's why I mentioned Shen. They lost. Tyloo loses their superstar player early in that end game fight. And that
так, что-то там на Твиче даже какую-то активность какая-то началась. Ядрен батон.
I don't know if they're gonna gatekeep or not on this bridge. I'm just kind of. It looks like they might be.
Maybe
we'll see.
They kind of have the positions for it, right? CC playing that hill, Ming moving over to that other side. That's usually whenever we see the bridge camp, it's kind of along something in this lane. But I think they might just be reconvening back together, and that's not the worst of ideas. It's really just NH, Day Trade, QM that are on the military base island right now. FaZe, you can see, leaving Milta. They've got an open path for it. Now, this is a squad we do see trying to get control over that southern area of this bridge and get a light bridge camp in some fashion.
Exactly. Exactly right. They light bridge camped it last time. Is it going to be a heavier camp this time? Are they just going to play a little bit deeper? There's a crate coming down there by the radar tower. Maybe you go make a play for that. We'll see exactly what they want to do. Tyloo. All right. Razak, twisted minds ahead of them, dude. Something could happen.
Oh, you touch my tra-la-la.
Хватит перебивать Скуба. Не даешь ему ни шанса.
Скуб просто очень сильный комментатор. Я учусь у Скуба, так что...
Я очень сильный комментатор.
Он просто придерживается принципов, что молчание — это действительно золото. Вы просто не видите, но он всю информацию вам подает мимикой. Ну, просто вам не видно.
Я сижу, ну, типа, руками машу. Знаешь, как у певцов есть эти...
Все, на этом он помолчит, потому что молчание золото.
Я не помню, как их зовут. У меня вылетело из головы. Да нет, просто чтобы комментировать, нужно чему-то удивляться, нужно что-то, типа, эмоции какие-то. Какие могут быть эмоции от этого? Комментатор должен быть крипом, который ни хрена не понимает, чтобы который постоянно говорил «Вау, о, вот как китайцы или корейцы орут, чел просто попал в чела, и уже о».
Ну ты видел зону? Ты восхищаешься такой зоной вообще, нет? Что думаешь?
Народ ебал я зону последнюю сосновку. И думаю, все так же думают.
QM's already in position. 17 Gaming already moving along the western bridge. It's going to be Oslo. It's going to be back behind them. LG look like they're going to be taking the ferry around, or maybe might have found themselves a boat. I can't quite see. 17 Gaming not going to get harassed, as NH is not doing that bridge camp that we were looking at beforehand. They're going to go ahead and stay into the compound that's in the valley.
Как думаешь, мужики переживают?
Ну,
Которые ниже 8 строчки все. Ниже 7.
Я думаю, что нет.
Думаешь, что нет?
Я думаю, переживают только New Happy, что они зарплату потеряли после турика.
Buys themselves that center. They pretty much have the center of the military base island under control right now. And I was about to comment.
15 тысяч баксов в месяц, я думаю, никому не в кайф терять.
You can just feel the palpable tension in the
on pins and needles that both of the Thai teams that are left will make it through. It very well could happen. And every kill that Day Trade gets makes it harder and harder and harder for somebody else to claim that eighth, to claim another spot. The 8th place spot very much in contention. Day Trade's further out of reach now.
Мужики, только не грызитесь, ладно? Мирас-то сдайся уже.
С кем раз-то там дерется?
Да. Он там стоят, блин, все друг на друга просто что-то. Смотри, у Мираста нет аргументов других. Мираста говорит, да ты русский не знаешь. Другие говорят, да и нахрен, ну и чё, не знаю, я не из России. Зато ты меня понял. А у Мирасты нечего предъявить, понимаешь? Он говорит, все, вы неучи, я с вами не хочу общаться.
Nobody is playing along the coastline right now. I mean, there's twisted minds that swimming in. That doesn't really count because even they are going to be moving in. Everybody is just fighting for the hills early.
Yep, exactly. You can see it. That they're already pushing with those front two. LG, Mime has a boat. The rest of them are still in the ferry. Tianba's on a boat too, so Mime might be in a bit of trouble. Yeah, we got some pirate action out there. As I was worried about Vard when I took a look at the map a second ago, he was trailing, and that's a
Ой, хороший хедшот был.
Oh my word.
I mean, early blue, just phase one.
Отзываю чак-чак. А когда был чак-чак, я не понял. А как Вард нокнулся?
Ну,
от зоны?
Попали, и
он
он
от зоны?
нокнулся.
Понял. И сейчас, если ты пятый еще с этим доиграют, это будет, конечно, для футболистов лютый тильт. Потому что Т5 похер, а футболистам... Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй!
T-Bone getting that harassment out, not allowing the flanked angles to be revealed. This is big for Foot. They need to try to make it happen. Barosted is going to be able to pick.
Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй, какие же вы Т5-е.
Нормально усики ебашит.
Пошикатил Эдди. Ну вот первая команда, которая теряет свои шансы забраться в
Ну если
топ-8.
сейчас уберут этого последнего Т5, то плюс 4.
Кстати, я не заметил, как там ног мужчина схватил. А как он в гараже нокнулся?
Его Вард взорвал.
А Вард молодец.
Ну выйди ты на крышу, клоун.
А они не знают про него или нет?
Ну видишь же, смотрит он туда.
Сейчас в окошечко пикнет башкой и нокнется? Нет. Но он не знает точно, где он находится.
Ну как будто там немного вариантов. Либо он за дорогу убежал, либо он стоит за этой херней.
to send a team packing. That's a confidence boost for you, and that's a mental boom for the other side. So certainly worth it. Day trade finding more points. This is huge. They are pretty much now guaranteed. Nah, I'm gonna do what he can, but Flash right in response. The trade is there. NH gone.
Lots of those points going over to day trade.
Отличная игра от Никакой. Боже, а что с New Happy вообще стало? Мне кажется, они просто решили, что да нахер мы в Last Chance всех все лобби просто порвем и все. Как думаешь?
That is going to be where T-Bone is at. Keep in mind, T-Bone, no matter how this fight goes, he can kind of get out and extricate himself back down to the island itself. It's just a matter of can they get Vard out because they want to have...
А Бими уехал? Или что?
T-Bone.
T-Bone уехал?
Не, на горе там он катается.
Ой, 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 хорошая, хорошая!
That is going to be dangerous. Vard barely stepping away from it. Keep in mind, T-Bone did move down from Everest just
Но им надо быстрее уже, а то они в зону
Да.
так не успеют.
Данте в минус. Твисты переплыли. Поэмы сверху с Азлой дерутся. Минус ферстик.
That's just what Foot has been having to do all day.
And it's so difficult with only 2 players left. It's going to take a miraculous run for them not to just get into the circle but get more points. Gustav going to claim a much needed point.
Так, мужики, меня там не приплетайте только.
Those 4 kills were, I'd say, like 99% good enough to guarantee them a spot in the grand finals.
I'm looking at a 55, 55, 54, 54, 53 on...
Мираста, ну ты слабый получается. Задушили тебя, мужики. Минус бестолочь. А Доус один остался.
Nazla, another team that needs to go absolutely bonkers here, Matt, if they're going to have any hope being one of those top 8, and I mean absolutely nuts, sitting at 48 points right now.
Все, только давайте, не сритесь.
Or no more than that, sorry, but those grenades doing a lot of damage to a doozy. He's stuck up there trying to go for the heal, and his stuns come out.
I mean, this is a lot of utility being used right now, and that's the only thing that worries me about it. Sure, they were going to go ahead and finish off question mark, and question mark's going to be going into the last chance qualifier, but the thing with it is they...
Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Ой-ой-ой. Твисты еще вместе с 17-ми. Рядышком.
Они еще без тачек.
Эй, мужик, что за фигня? Ты сюда скоро все будешь кидать? Сын буянит, блин. Банку от детского питания мне закинуть хотел.
Так он тебе подкрепиться принес.
Подкрепиться принес. Папа, ты голодный?
Покушать принес тебе.
Нет, Артикс уже вылетели. Все.
Так это что, получается, фейзы проходят?
Думаешь, они сочно сидят? Ну, как будто бы сейчас твистов задушат 17-е. Но, в принципе, драка ни за что, да? Но им, в принципе, ничего и не надо уже. О, 17-е текают. Найс. Плюс шанс пожить, подышать.
Там некуда жить-то, дышать пешком. Им только соников идти убивать по берегу.
Вполне себе. Ну там open, блин.
Just ridiculous. Double the cutoff that you would be worried about making it into the top 8 right now. Tiamba is going to be approaching in on military base.
Так, там Адолс еще ничего в телеге не написал.
We've been seeing a very heavy lean into center.
Не знаю, не слежу за ним.
Eastern hillside, it's going to be pretty centered. You know where the island in Sosnovka Island is going to be written at? Not very many people have moved into the center yet, and I think it's just due to the donut.
Не, Иван, ты не заблуждайся. New Happy это очень сильные ребята. Они очень сильные. Так что... Ты уж так-то сильно уж это... Не воодушевляйся. Там велосипедист! Они на великах едут. Причем они подъехали на великах. Ой, это просто... Я не могу. Какой ор.
Интересно, кто-то догадается прокрутить по берегу еще сильно дальше?
Не знаю. Ты про Соников или про Твистов?
Про Твистов.
Ну, Батулин поехал. Уезжает.
Ну, еще одну зону край выбили, считай.
Да, да. И воды сейчас нету, поэтому прок не особо предсказуемый. Как будто бы он может и вверх прокать сильно. Ну, нормально. Они у Батулина... Что там? А, велик еще нет. Ну, Соников, если убьют, это ближайшие конкуренты. А, хотя там футболисты уже в очко дышат. Но футболистов двое. Футболисты, Тайлу, Соники уже 11-е. 0 поинтов за 3 игры у Соников, кстати. Вообще этот день у них отвратительный прям.
Able to avoid any damage just yet. Able to spot out Batu and H-Win. Nasty with the mini. But that is going to be hard to get the flush on that hillside. Going to buy just Sonics don't want to leave their defended position.
Убьют Батулина. Точно. Точно убьют. А нет! А нет!
Вообще Твистам по-хорошему идти бразильца просто отпинать по фастику.
Может быть, но они же не знают, что там.
Ну,
но они пойдут. Они пойдут и потом вдоль дороги, возможно, вообще пойдут.
Ой.
А там еще...
Футы наконец-то доехали до зоны. Ну, правда, сдохнут сейчас.
Just narrowly making the blue zone. Anonix has spotted out. They landfall. Look at those health bars, man. Nothing to be done. Bard gonna go down.
Вар даже не пытается двигаться.
Right on the cusp of it. It's gonna be Asla also getting some harassment into Tylee while this is going on. Legacy hears this. Looks like they might be trying to supervise. They know that they want some points too.
Отлично, плюс поинт для Твистов 100%. И Соники... Боже, Соники вверх поднимаются.
Твистам же он, наверное, еще и машину подогнал.
Да. Батулин на велике едет, смотри где! Батулина сейчас убьют, возможно. Соники идут прям закрывать. Ну, сейчас Твисты могут Соников уработать. Соники отступают. У нас Тайлу отправляются уже все. В Last Chance, New Happy Last Chance, Коэми Last Chance, Тиглтон в ноке. Текают, Тиглтон плюс поинт для Твистов еще. Хорошо. Ашвин! Плюс поинт! Лу в ноке от LGC. Плохо. Ой, пацаны сейчас от зоны начнут дохнуть. Посмотри, что делает Перфект. Нет, только не умри! Твисты уже небольшой отрыв имеют. Небольшой.
Но им надо Соников убить. Ну там фейзы еще в центре зоны сидят, игру выиграют сейчас. Нет, тут ГГ, короче.
The last two members of Twisted Mind to not take any more losses. You have the level 3 gear for kickstart. Trimsy there with an AUG and a Dragonov, trying to do his best to make sure that Twisted Minds can't do much, and you can see the frustration here on Batu.
Ой, хорошо! Нехорошо, очень плохо.
Trying to move forward, blue zone starting to tick harder and harder by the second. Tries to navigate forward. Twisted Minds does go down. They are holding on to 8th, but just for right now. Sonics, though, they need to make a move. They've got 17 gaming that are going to be in front of them, and let's not forget about Legacy as well.
And you know that 17 would love to send Sonics out to the losers if they can. FaZe, though, Another team very much in the mix along with Osla, but Osla has taken so many losses.
Ой, 17-е. ГГ! Соники в лузерах. Так, у твистов есть шанс. Есть шанс.
Ну, все зависит от того, как фейзы сейчас сыграют.
А там сейчас к фейзам придут 17-е.
Так Тибон еще живет, кстати.
Ну да. И он еще будет долго жить.
Трипоинты для фейзов едут.
Для 17-х. Они сейчас могут занозить.
Good angle on that spray, does some damage right into the open arms of FaZe. FaZe can't quite connect with those sprays. Adder is going to go down, so Osla, another team eliminated.
Ой! Нихера себе, Сеул, что ты сделал? Я думал, это фейзы выбивают. Ой. Ой. Нет, походу и правда фейзы могут выиграть это.
Just wants to try to soak it, and every single time, finally, they're managing to pick up these points with it. Now, keep in mind, Tiamba is just going to be to the southwest of this positioning that FaZe is going to be playing, as we're going to be going to those oil derricks, and that's going to be...
Но если футболисты и фейзы сейчас помрут каким-то чудом... Тибон дальше должен умирать. Но ему остался 1 поинт. Сейчас, если 17-е умирают, футболисты будут... Футболисты уже твистов обгоняют. Ну все. Еще поинт на LG, и еще поинт сейчас будет на этих. Ну хотя, что, фейзы уже обогнали. Все, твисты 100% в ласт ченсе. Коимы в ласт ченсе, твисты в ласт ченсе. Ой, блин. Ну, Донава и 17-е это вообще пушка-вышка, конечно. There's a big firefight that's going to be brewing if he can kind of ninja his way into this one. He can buy more, and yes, another squad going to go down. That buys Foot even more placement points. Ну, фейзы в финале, я думаю.
I mean, every one of these kills makes it so impossible for the Foot player, for T-Bone, to get this done, and James finally gets to put that P90 to good use, and he wipes LG.
Джимс соло, что ли? Я что-то не понял.
Ну, почти.
The phenomenal, the veteran. James, he is one of the other players besides Uba that has attended every international event.
Well, let's give you guys a quick update as well. I'm doing some quick math in my head. The day trade sitting at 72 points. The 59 points of probably going to cement their position right now as T-Bone's going to be trying to make his run across. He's going to get spotted out by Anonix.
T-Bone, ну пустите!
Пустите, финал хочу. Ну пустите. Ну выжил.
That is no easy feat. I thought Donowa had him dead to rights, but going to be able to get the first date off, going to be able to get into the next circle, at least for now, and wait this out. But a 4-man of Tianba in front of him, probably not going to have to move from the factory. So this is looking all but over for Foot, and it's going to take an absolute miracle. That's all it is for T-Bone here.
I mean, it requires FaZe to go out near instantly from this position and him to out-survive, making it quite a ways in. I mean, there is a 3-point difference. Something could happen.
Но тут Unreal, фейзы не умрут.
Медвежонок вон сидит, смотрит.
Зона над заводом будет. ГГ.
It's going to be tough. It is going to be very, 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 very tough. He only has one smoke too to make matters worse.
20 rounds, dude.
Yeah,
man.
dude, this is not great. You can see him wiping his hands. I'm sure he is sweating bullets. He knows what's at stake and he knows what he has to do. He's probably got a pretty good idea of the fact that FaZe is still ahead of him and still very much in this, and he's going to try to wait, I assume, just as long as he can to leave. The problem is still Tianba is going to have control of a corner of that factory and going to be able to hold him out.
The hot drop location if you're going to military base, right? I mean, everybody goes down to this compound. You should be pretty familiar.
Никакой интриги не осталось, ё-моё.
That more eastern building, and Onyx, you can see, is kind of playing the wall, looking down at T-Bone. It's kind of his.
Ну, 17-е Донавы, конечно, блин. Сейчас пойдем на них ставить.
He's gotten there a couple of times, but it's just more and more eyes keep coming back at him, dude. The heart you got to give to T-Bone right now is.
No, I know. The pressure he's under. I mean, his heart rate has got to be just popping, and Tianba happy to just watch him, but I mean, there's just not much he can do.
He's just going to med it out. He's realized that there's just no real way to make this one work. So, looks like we are going to see them.
Pow pow.
He's going to get spotted, and it's going to be Pow Pow that takes him down. Tianba now, let's look into our 4v4v4 firefight on Military Base Island.
But now we know for sure that FaZe has done it.
Yep.
Another Sunday finds success for FaZe.
Ну что, ребят, у нас в финале 17-е, Донава, Т5-е, Тианба, Люминосити, Церберусы, Дейтрейды и Фейзы. И в Last Chance отправляются футболисты, Твисты, Соники, Тайлу, бразильцы, Азла, Квешенмарки, Нью Хэппи. Так, а кто у нас?
Кстати, в одно время, если бы мы нормально сыграли по КС, нас хотели Luminosity подписать.
ТНП?
Да.
Что предлагали?
Ну, пока конкретики не было, там поставили типа условия поиграть нормально.
Но вы не,
мы, конечно же, не поиграли нормально. Ну там что-то, знаешь, типа в районе 3-4, что ли, кабаксов примерно.
Нормальные бабки. Так. Также там будут в Last Chance Кия, Эйсы, Джинджи, Genius Sports, Петрики, SSG, Фальконы и В7. На самом деле тоже довольно-таки сильное лобби получается. В Last Chance тоже сильное лобби получается.
Dono and Tianba in some ways. FaZe just needs to hold the line and come through with the win, and then they for sure will know. I don't know if they know in their heads exactly where they're at in the leaderboard, but if they can come through with the win, they will definitely be celebrating. Here we go. Grenades are...
Сегодня вечером стрим. Кого отдыхаете? Сеньор Руслан стримит сегодня вечером. Так, чатик. Вы подпишитесь лучше на Телеграм, чтобы не пропускать. Что там месье стример будет делать? А еще я, кстати, вам никогда не говорю о том, чтобы вы пользовались моим кодиком, когда джикоины покупаете. Для СНГ сайт официальный у ПАБГ открылся. Можете пользоваться моим кодиком. Мне будет с ваших покупок 5% падать. Вот вам моя телега. Получается, что для нового состава КМ осталось посмотреть 12 карт? Ты чё, Мирастая? Но, походу там точно будет минус Данте, я так понимаю. Как будто бы я там посмотрел какой-то отрезок, а Доус прям совсем недовольный был. Всем привет, завтра еще успею проголосовать? Успеешь завтра проголосовать. Успеешь. Пока Last Chance идет, ты что успеешь? Там до 30 числа кто-то говорил. Ну, молодцы, фейзы. Сейчас посмотрим там, до какого голосовать можно. Сейчас глянем. Ну, град с фейзов с проходкой. Финал. Молодцы. Я не понял, это Ибица или кто это? Нет, походу. Ну, по-моему, тоже до 28-го, но почему-то вчера чел написал, что до 30-го. Сейчас посмотрим. Ну, 17-е сейчас выглядит прям очень.
Там голосовать до начала каток, наверное, можно.
Период получения наград завершается через 4 дня и 17 часов. Сегодня у нас 26-е, значит до 30 числа можно. Да? Еще 4 дня, если. Почти 5 дней. Так у меня выбраны твисты, экзальты, 17-е. То есть я не выбирал квешн-марков. И, пожалуй, не стоит, может. Это пока вот те команды, которые железобетон, я считаю, что можно выбрать. Это Донава и 17-е. Они прям максимально ярко выглядят в этом сильнейшем лобби, блин. Отмени чепуха? Так нельзя отменять. В смысле отмени? Еще у меня 2 выбора, посмотрим потом.
Тианов поставь.
Тианбу? Думаешь? Не знаю, я подумаю еще. Завтра посмотрю Last Chance. Так, завтра будешь? Наши-то остаются там же. Надо смотреть. Надо смотреть. Так, ладно, чатик. Я пойду тогда отдыхать. Пойду кушать. И через пару часов мы с вами увидимся на стримчике. Всем огромное спасибо, что смотрели. Спасибо тем, кто подписался. Спасибо за лайки. Сегодня прям огромное количество лайков поставили. Надеюсь, это не накрутка, это вы такие красивые. В общем, ну ладно, не огромное, но больше, чем обычно. Хорошо, вот так вот. Соники еще себя покажут. Посмотрим, посмотрим. В общем, тогда через пару часиков увидимся. Всем спасибо. Хорошего вам вечера. Кто не придет. Last Chance завтра? По-моему, да. Завтра же скуп, да ведь?
Ой, я хз.
По-моему, Last Chance, ребят, завтра. Сейчас давайте посмотрим как раз.
Так, ладно, я убежал. Давай.
Давай. Давай. Ты что, сегодня праки?
Нет, наверное.
Понял, ладно, давай. Если что, что-нибудь напишу, может.
Давай.
Так, сейчас посмотрим мы с вами, когда у нас Last Chance. Ну, вообще, я как помню, без перерыва, по-моему. Так, Last Chance. Да, завтра, 27 ноября. 27-е, 28-е будет Last Chance. И финал начинается с 1 декабря. Все, увидимся завтра, в том числе на ПГЦ, кто будем болеть также за квешн-марков и за твистов. Надеюсь, у них хотя бы, блин, в том лобби получится. Хотя лобби тоже сильное.